know what, Afro? Thank you for taking the time to come live over here. Like we do say, you have one of the most calm panels, unless somebody be playing in our face, and then I go
Mhm.
up. But I don't see enough people talking about the SCOTUS decision to end birthright citizenship.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to do a little bit of research on that before, but I was like on the verge of making this one and the other one, but I think the other one's going to be a little bit longer and more in depth. So I'm like, okay, this is something we can really get to, but because I want to be informed on the subject before I start speaking on it. But I did hear about that.
Cool.
But
So can I volunteer this, and then y'all can move on to
go all
Zizi.
right.
People won't move on from Pan Africanism because we're conditioned to like everything has been about Africa. So for me, at 14, I had a lot of hip hop artists, right? Early hip hop artists, Jungle Brothers,
Hmm.
Tribe Called Quest, Queen Latifah, Public Enemy. A lot of my hip hop artists was paying homage to Africa. So, one of my now I listen to the songs, I'm like, dang, they talking about Africa. But not only that, we have a good moral compass. So we understood that at a young age, our government was full of BS. And so I think the one thing we pushed back on, for me, honestly, was saying that African tribes sold other tribes. I was very adamant they just could not have done that. And so I just felt like they were oppressed. I didn't understand the dynamics that if you really look at it, they act like white tea people. And they got into bed with white tea people. They made a bad deal, but we're conditioned to treat others who are non-white as we would want to be treated. And so people won't let go of Pan Africanism because they dream of having a black nation. And one prerequisite, as Brother Marshall tells us, to be Pan African is to hate America. So they're willing to skip over 500 years of documented history here
Mm.
for a mythical feel good of being united in Africa. I land.
Okay, you're right. We having a conversation, and a lot of the panel's already full. We ain't even got started, so we already know we're gonna be in here. We're gonna be in here good, deep. I love it. All right, I miss y'all. Been very busy. Been working on something for you guys. Y'all gonna like it. But we're gonna get started. Why can't folks move on? What is now? BX gave a good example of the conditioning. So we're just gonna ask that question: why can people not move on from Pan Africanism? Now, because we have a full panel of people here, we're gonna kind of just get started. I'm not even gonna do the whole monologue thing. I was telling y'all about my crazy stalker life. I'm telling y'all, man, I be
That
going
shit's
through it,
crazy.
man. I be going through it. So I'm not about to bore, and that's probably the most personal I've gotten on TikTok with you guys at all ever. You know what I'm saying? I've never really gotten personal with y'all. I'm just talking about that because it's something that has actually gotten bought up on TikTok. You know, hopefully she doesn't get a TikTok. Lord have mercy. Um,
Hey, greatest. Fuck around.
she
Come
be
up with a panel.
imagine that she be joining the lives. I'll be like, gotta shut it down, guys. I gotta go. I couldn't show my face on TikTok no more. Oh my
I'll try
gosh.
that block
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. That's crazy. Zizi, do you want to say something before we get to the speaker?
Yeah, surely. Why can't we move on from Pan Africanism? The greatest. I think a lot of us, foundational Black Americans. I think a lot of us grew up. If we didn't grow up in Pan Africanist households, it was kind of Pan Africanist adjacent, or we had our parents may have had some Pan Africanist adjacent ideologies. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of that is just kind of embedded within us, embedded within our culture. We are very pro Black people. We're very much for Black people, not only here but honestly around the world. We're always betting on Black no matter what. And so I think that's just something that we're trying to hold on to because of that. I think some of us feel like it may be anti-Black to not be Pan-Africanist or something along the lines of that. So yeah, I think some of us just feel like it's like it's some sort of betrayal, that we're making if we're not Pan-Africanists. If we're not putting, oh yeah, we're fighting for all Black people everywhere. If it's not that sort of thing, especially because we've heard that rhetoric for so long, not only in our households, but from a lot of the leaders, especially after civil rights, even during civil rights, a lot of us, we fell for that rhetoric that was, let's bring more black people over here. We need more numbers, and then we get the black people over here, and they're not on code. They're othering themselves. They're not considering themselves black. They're creating their own little spaces within our spaces. They using blackness to their benefit or whenever it's convenient. And so a lot of us, there's it's a long history there when it comes to Pan-Africanism, or us just, again, being for black people globally. So yeah, I mean, I get it. But we just have a slew of issues that we have to worry about first now. So, I think a lot of us are waking up to that now. A lot of us are turning our heads to foundational Black American problems, primarily, and making that the number one issue for us. But yeah, there is still a lot of us, especially the older generations, that part as well. A lot of the older generations who lived through civil rights, who fell for the Jesse Jackson, and, their sorts of rhetoric, the African American, and yeah, they're still holding on to that, and our grandparents, so us still trying to pay homage or still listen to the elders, some of the elders who still have that sort of thinking. I know Professor Smalls just was going, I seen you going in, I've seen a lot of people going in. I mean, you had to do what you had to do. I ain't mad at you, brother. You did what you needed to do. But yeah, but we still do have elders like that who are on that path of thinking. So, it's like, it's a little, it's again, I think it's something we're starting to let go of, but yeah, I get why so many of us are holding on to it. It's a part of the culture, unfortunately. I mean, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, it's just not something we need to be on, but it is a part of our culture. So yeah, it's something that is hard for a lot of us to let go, but yeah, it is what it is. We FBA all day. Moving on,
All right, yeah. A lot of it, honestly, like you said, they feel like it's a betrayal. They feel like that's the only way. And too often our people have an issue moving on. Our people are too optimistic about our relationship with other people. It took too long for us to realize our relationship with these other people, quote unquote, people of color. And it took a real long time for us to realize, honestly, our relationship with Africa and the Caribbean and all of them. So a lot of people have still really not accepted that and still view things in this very ideological lens. That's the thing. Okay. But that's my thing, I'll say for now, and then we can move on to the speakers. All righty then. All right, we got a lot of people up here wanting to speak, and that's good. That's a good sign. I love to hear that. So
I'm glad she said that too. BX mentioned that we don't consider African race. That's also another reason why we holding on to that Pan-African shit. Some of us do consider it our race. Agree.
That's a point. That is a point. People have said that, and that's a thing that we got to move past.
Yeah,
we really do. We're going to get to Travis. Just pretty much going to go down the line like that. If I have to cycle you out, that means that there's just people who want to come up to speak. So that way we keep a kind of revolving panel of people. So we have as many voices and opinions as possible. That doesn't mean I dislike what you had to say or anything personal. And it doesn't mean that you can't come back up. I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to weigh in on the subject. All right. So Travis, you got
it. Black American. I live in Dallas. I'm from St. Louis. I am Pan-African, so I'm really trying to understand. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm actually kind of disturbed, man. Yeah, this is kind of bothersome to me.
Okay. What is bothersome?
This, I guess, movement away from Pan-Africanism. It's very strange to me.
Well, let me ask you this. And I'm glad that you're up here so we can discuss this.
Yeah.
Can you define for us Pan-Africanism?
Yeah, social, political, and economic togetherness among Black folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel as if currently we practice Pan-Africanism as a diaspora?
In the diaspora? Mm-hmm. Somewhat. I think it could be better. So, for example, I think what they're like in the Caribbean, think there's a lot going on. Mia Motley of Barbados, for example, she's done a lot of economic changes for the Caribbean, and they're kind of like really, collectively coming together. I actually just did a business deal with Africa, the African Union. So you asked about the diaspora, but there was a new thing with Atlanta. I know that they was doing with South Africa. I can't go into the details of it, but I know that was a thing. In fact, I think there was a guy that called it the kind of like the gateway to Africa, Atlanta. I can't remember the guy that said that, but they're working on some economic reforms between Atlanta and South Africa, which I thought was pretty interesting. But yeah, anyway,
Let
just
me
to
let me
answer your
let
question.
me because we do have a lot of people on here, and I do want to give you a chance to really weigh in on the subject. Because from what I think you're the only Pan Africanist who is currently on the panel. So I want us to be able to really have this conversation. The issue that we're having with Pan Africanism, and I can respect the ideal of us as the diaspora all coming together and unifying collectively, and that's great and that's fine. But the issue with that is that the only way that can work is if everybody is on that page, everybody is on that type of time. Now, you might be able to do some business, but at the same time, you can do business with Asian people. You can do business with Europeans. So we're when we talk about Pan-Africanism, we're talking about that beyond just a monetary transactional business relationship. We're talking about I see you as an extension of my people, and therefore I'm going to put your interest and my interest as an equivalent, and we're going to work together to empower each other. And as an ideal, that would be a great ideal. However, what we have realized, and we come to the realization is that is not how everybody else operates. That's how American blacks, foundational black Americans, that's how we have operated. However, that's not how the continent of Africa has operated. That's not currently how they operate. That's not really how the Caribbean has operated. That's not currently how they operate now. Even a lot of people bring up Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey tried to start the Pan-African movement in Jamaica, and Jamaica rejected it twice. Jamaica didn't want anything to do with Pan-Africanism. There's a section of Jamaicans, the Rastas, who are about that, but that doesn't reflect the collective of them. That doesn't reflect the whole of them. So what we're saying is that the relationship of us fighting, like for instance, to end the apartheid in South Africa, sending donations, fighting for their opportunities to come over here and their place to come to the States and create a home and things like that, not just Africa, but the Caribbean. It's one-sided because too many of them, and nobody is saying all, but too many of them are very tribalistic, and that is the culture that they come from. And they come from a culture of, well, I'm going to look out for my ethnic group primarily, almost solely in many cases. And after that, then I'm going to look out for immigrants right after that. So what we've realized is that this has been a very one-sided and exploitative relationship that we have with the diaspora. So we're saying, okay, instead of focusing on trying to make something work that's not working, what we should do is we should reprioritize our focus, our time, our resources, and our energy towards our own ethnic group, the ethnic group that built this country, and empower ourselves.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with what, because I'm not opposed to us as Black Americans kind of like prioritizing certain issue, primarily reparations, obviously, right? Like I'm not opposed to that. That's something I think we actually need to do. I'm familiar. I'm friends with several of the people that are actually in the legal hairs of that. Camilla Moore is an example. She's a friend of mine. So I'm not opposed to that. What I'm opposed to is this title, why folks can't move on from Pan-Africanism. So this is the distinction. There's a difference between saying, okay, we want to prioritize some things. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I got a problem too when
You got your fresh and fits coming over to America, starting gender wars, and then people blaming that on black men. Like I got a personal issue with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't disagree with that element, but I disagree with this element of trying to move past Pan Africanism. And let me just tell you two very important reasons why. The first reason why is because as black people, we'll never have sovereignty here in America. And what I mean by sovereignty is as long as we are living up under white tea people, whatever the TikTok friendly language is, as long as we're living up under white tea people, there's always going to be that oppressive force. We've been here for 500 years. We've been here since 1526, right? And as long as we've been here, we have always been on the bottom rung. This is by design. That's not sovereignty. That's not freedom. That's not liberation. You understand what I'm saying? And so as long as we're living up under white tea people, that is going to be our story. And I'm saying as a black man, I'm 1000% against that. I can never be okay with being at the bottom rung of anybody. Okay? So this is the primary issue that I have with this particular perspective. The second issue that I have is I agree that there are ethnic battles everywhere. There's ethnic battles in Japan and China. And I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with what China is doing to the Uyghurs and other Tibetan people and Taiwanese. And this it doesn't matter where you go. Same thing, that's an internal thing, but that's completely separate, right? You can even talk about the small hats. The small hats, you got I don't know if I could talk about their ethnic groups or not, but you got the different ethnic groups within even the small hats. And they got their hierarchies. So there's always going to be internal struggles. Okay. That's a normal thing. But to completely disregard or disband, where our ancestors come from is crazy.
Okay, well, let me address your points, and then I'm gonna let other people address because we got to move on and everything like that. I respect your decorum, even though you disagree, and we're having a respectful conversation as men. So I appreciate this, and I'm glad that there's a lot of people in here to listen. The problem, I would say, is the idea of Pan-Africanism, I think, was flawed from its genesis. I feel like the idea of Pan-Africanism centers the continent of Africa as the motherland, and it centers everything else as a extension of the continent. It puts Africa as the root, and everything else is the branches to the root. And therefore, it's kind of evolved or deteriorated rather into almost this religion where Africa is like a deity and Africa is now worshipped. Africa cannot be criticized, and us as foundational Black Americans, because we're so distant from it, we become like the ugly duckling of the continent. Do you understand what I'm saying? So therefore, and when I'm saying that about Pan-Africanism or Pan-Africanists, they will wag their fingers at us. You have Professor Small, you have Dr. Umar, who have no problem criticizing us and reprimanding us. But when it comes to the same energy, like you said, with fresh and fits and all of that stuff, they don't want to call out tether behavior. And this is what it's coming from, because they look at anything closer to Africa as almost like closer to some deity. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, Africa gets a very a tap on the wrist, as opposed to us being completely bashed and lashed and reprimanded. And this is what it's turned into. I believe that a lot of people years ago, when they were Pan-Africanism, I believe had pure and good intentions. A lot of people are former Pan-Africanists who had pure and good intentions, but they've seen what Pan-Africanism has evolved into. My solution is to prioritize wherever you are, to prioritize your own blackness. Okay. You put your blackness at the forefront, and that needs to be the priority in your business, in your relationships, the way you think, the way you move. You're putting your blackness first. That's the primary. You're black first. And I feel like if everybody was to prioritize their blackness first, not a connection to Africa, it wouldn't have devolved into that, because even in Africa, they don't put their blackness first. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been the better move. That's why we say that here. We're not dismissing anything, and we're not even dismissing our ancestry to the continent. However, we also have to bring up the scientific reality that we do have ancestry here that is indigenous. okay, prior to Columbus coming and in the 1400s. So this is something that we also have to recognize as well too. Now, when it talks about Pan-Africanism, they don't treat Pan-Africanism as this movement. They treat it almost like a religion, and it's practiced like a religion to them. And it comes from a place of not feeling a belonging to this land. And they want to cling on to some type of claim or belonging to the continent.
Can I ask you one question? And I know you said we got to get to other people.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to ask you one question, and then I'm not even going to respond. I'll wait till you come back around to me. But as long as we've been here on this continent, okay, as long as we've been American, okay, have we ever been sovereign as Black people? Have we ever got out of the bottom caste system as Black people?
No, we haven't defeated the system yet. No, we have not. Though no one in the world has. If we're going to be very honest with you, I'm not gonna say we have, because that's the truth. We have not. Africa has not either. Africa is still colonized all throughout the continent. The Caribbean is still colonized and exploited all throughout the continent. So the whole world is still conquered by this system. So we're not gonna say, well, we can't do it in America. No, we can do it in America. We can't act as if there's some promised land outside of America, because it's not. But I'm gonna let other people address you real quick, and then I appreciate everybody's patience. We starting off pretty good. Y'all tap that screen and hit that like button. I'm gonna let other people address you. Zizi, I think you had one to say something.
Okay. DX, I'm about to say DX. You can go first. Go ahead. What you about to say?
Okay. So if I heard correctly, he was saying how the Caribbean is enriching the Caribbean and African nations are enriching African nations, correct? Is that what you said, Travis? You told us? Okay. All right, because it sounded like he was saying how the Caribbean, there was a lady who's helping the Caribbean get XYZ. I argue that's not Pan-Africanism, but group economics, if that's what you were informing us of. So whereas Pan-Africanism is a good ideal, they came here and delineated first. So if we look at our government, we'll see all the caucuses, Caribbean, Haitian, African, and then the Congressional Black Caucus that is filled with like 44 with immigrant backgrounds, right? So they know we're not a part of their group, or they wouldn't have all those things specifically for them and be able to double dip in our pot, but we can't double dip in theirs. I just think that they do things that goes against the Pan-African ideal. And I think the onus is on them after 60 years, and I'll fight to get them in this pit. Let's not forget that, to sort of align with us and not us try to prove that we're aligning with them. I'm from New York, very heavy Pan-African movement. You heard me say about my hip-hop artists and stuff. But when I realized it's one-sided, nobody here has denied the slave trade has happened. Nobody here, like out of me, ZZ, and Afroleet, never said that we don't have that ancestry. We're just saying we're not, because it's been 500 years, ethnogenesis, and our ancestors had to birth a new ethnic group, and that ethnic group was formed here. So we're more North American than we are African. So me personally, my genealogy of African descent, indigenous descent, and European. I got them pesky Europeans. So I'm amalgamated, and I wasn't raised around Africans. I really wasn't. Puerto Ricans, Caribbeans, Black American, and conveniently, I'm the only one who knows I'm Black American and not all them ethnic groups, but they think they us when it's time to say the N-word, claim hip-hop, or ask for our reparations because they showing up in New York too. They dropped the ball on Pan-Africanism, and we want Black Americans to realize everybody's playing group economics, and we're not a part of their group. That's all.
And before Zizi, before you go, because after that, then we'll move on. I want to add, the original intent was always supposed to be a strategy. I'm gonna say this one time, to dismantle the system of white supremacy. It was a strategy, and when strategies fail, you move on to the next thing. When Plan A fails, you move on to Plan B. The the issue is that Plan A has turned into something that people have esteem from. It was never supposed to be this religious identifier. People cling on to it less like a strategy and more like a religion. People cling on to it as if it's something that gives them a sense of identity and a sense of belonging. And it was never supposed to be that way. And because people feel like Africa is where they belong and it's given them this place of belonging, they cannot criticize it. They view it in this almost godly way. They view the continent and the people. Therefore, they're completely unbiased. They're completely biased and uneven and unjust with its transactions, and they can't see the flaws in the continent and criticize them well. All right. So that's what I'm gonna say briefly, and then I'm gonna let Ziza go ahead.
Yeah, just quick, because I know we do got to get to the rest of the speakers. We starting off strong, though. I just had to move my YouTube back. I'm going to move back to 10, actually. I moved back 9:30. I'm going to move back to 10. We might be up here for a little bit. But, yeah, I'm glad you rebutted perfectly, though. I was waiting on you to mention the fact that, yeah, white tea supremacy is a global thing. Nowhere, anywhere, no black people, no black population anywhere has defeated this system, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's why we all are under this, are in similar predicaments. I think there is an idea that us reaching out to Africa that's going to be our savior. Us fleeing to Africa is the solution. That's not the solution. You know, we have not had Africans come and try to back us with their military. They don't even control their militaries in the way, and they do when they do try to control their militaries. When their leaders do, they're often unalived by other superpowers, i.e., the U.S. The people that the YTs that run the U.S. So. We have to be honest about the situation that we're under. There's no just reaching out to these other groups and this is the automatic, there's just this automatic, saving that's happening. It would have been happened. They blocked the money that Gaddafi was trying to give to NOI. So there's been little things that happen, but again, we're still under the same system, whether we're here or there. And again, they're not our saviors. So yeah, I like the way you rebutted. That's all I was going to say. I was just waiting for you to put that in there. That maybe it's not just us. We all are victims of white supremacy. Let's just keep it a being.
Can I ask another question? I don't know.
No, you said that first off. You said it's not true. So what country are you referring to, or what place?
It's a whole lot of Rwanda is one, Botswana is another. I mean, I can list a whole bunch of them.
Now, so you're saying that those countries are not affected by the system of white supremacy, is what you're saying?
No. So this is what I was about to ask you guys, because I don't know what you guys even. To me, it's so nebulous. So to me, what defeating white supremacy looks like to me is sovereignty. Okay. That's what it looks like to me. So to you, I don't even know what is it? Do you guys not think China defeated it? I mean, what do you? I mean,
no, they haven't.
Hell no.
Well, yeah, I think okay. This is okay. Now, this is I don't even know what's going on at this point. Right? So China
think China defeated it? You think China?
Yes.
Oh, first off, let me announce something. If the system exists anywhere in the world, then it exists. You can't defeat it unless you defeat it entirely. It's like a virus. Unless it's all the way gone, it's not gone. And China has not done that. Okay, you can argue that China has gotten its weight up a little bit in manufacturing. So America kind of has to play ball a little bit more with China. But no, China has not defeated it whatsoever.
Okay, so all right, because
sanctions and all of this stuff. The country only a couple generations ago dropped nukes on the place. So I don't know what you're.
That's Japan, not China, brother. I don't.
Dropped on them. When did they do that?
That's Japan, not China. So, but let me. This is because I think we're speaking past each other. So I think, and I'm saying this respectfully to everybody on the panel. When you all say it exists everywhere, honestly, this sounds like cope, man. It sounds like cope because it doesn't exist everywhere. The problem I have, the lady above me said she's from New York. I'm going to tell you why I have what I'm talking about. Okay. I was looking, there was a video recently, maybe some months ago, of some 12-year-old girls being stopped by the police. And then they handcuffed this girl. The other girl that was with them was 9 years old. Okay. They handcuffed this girl and was about to put her in jail. She's crying for her mom. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I had a problem with that. And why I'm bringing this up. I'm bringing this up because as long as we live up under these people, I'm just going to say TikTok friendly language, that is going to be our reality. And when I hear people like you saying they can't be defeated, there's plenty of places on the planet.
I never said they can't be defeated. I said they have not been
Oh,
defeated.
Yeah.
okay,
And
fair
that's
enough.
can be.
Okay, fair enough. So what I'm saying is, no, I know I'm because I travel all over the place. I know this doesn't exist in other places, right? And so when I hear you say, well, hey, this exists everywhere, my answer to you is no, it doesn't.
Brother,
That does not exist.
I'm gonna say,
Hold on, just let me finish.
because we got to move on.
All right,
There's videos of black football players, not football, NBA players getting off buses when they do international sports and being called the N word in China. In China, they got, hold on, if you're gonna talk, because Chinese people don't have any reason to hate black people whatsoever if it wasn't for psychological indoctrination of the colonizers. Okay, they got stuff where a white exchange student gets praised and worshipped almost like a deity over in those countries. They treat the Caucasians and Europeans close to God. And there's videos of it all throughout the internet. They love them. Okay, they have surgeries so they can change their eyes and do plastic surgery so they can look more like them. They have skin bleaching advertisements and all of this stuff. They do blackface openly on TV in these countries. So it's a lot of anti-black racism, and this is what it is. So it's not like they've defeated the psychological Western powers, okay? They are still psychologically dominated, all right? Now, because of the fact that they do produce a lot of manufacturing, they have more leverage than other countries do. So therefore, America or the West has to play more ball with them, but they are still psychologically defeated. All right. Like, for instance, when they come over here, they're told to be completely docile to white people only. The way they treat Asian people, the way Asian people come over to America and treat black people versus how they treat white people is night and day different. Okay. They don't be, you've not seen a video of an Asian store owner locking the door and beating up no white woman, but you see, damn it, WWE battle royales with black women when they complain about their nails. So it's a lot of anti-blackness going on in China, all throughout China. So
They be racist fast. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Hold on, Afro. Can I wake this up? Okay, we don't stay in America. We go to Africa, which is a totally different beast with an oppressor. The people who are going to kidnap us and XYZ will be African.
Yeah.
Let's not act like we don't go over there and be unalive. Tanzania, a lady went to Tanzania to have the time of her life, a vacation over there, and she woke up and had to fight for her life. A woman went to Ghana, and she was unalive. Let's not play that game. There's whole villages, girls, whole villages. What was Michelle Obama champion? Bring back our girls? How many girls were over there kidnapped? I seen a mother in Sudan couldn't even sit outside in the village, and for as much shit as I talk on this app, my heart broke. And I was addressing the Africans. Why are you over here bothering us when that mother can't sit outside? So we got a whole nother beast in a whole nother continent if we go over there and they already have a disdain from us, okay? That's centuries back because it's from their ancestors.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We do gotta move. I want to address. Man, but we got a lot of people, and then we got people in the queue. So we gotta be fair. We gotta be fair. So, but thank you. We will circle back, but thank you. Actually, I'll allow you to come back up because we got to keep cycling. We got a lot of people who want to come up, but thank you though. We'll allow you to come back up if you want to get another chance to speak.
Right, and Halo should be in the building.
Let's get to KD1.
Peace. What's going on with the family?
What's the word, bro? Talk to us.
Not much. Just want to address the prompt. First off, brother Afro, appreciate you having me up. This is my second time. So I'm familiar with BX. We rub elbows a lot on lives. So I'm a foundational Black American. So why can't folks move on from Pan-Africanism? it's a huge generational divide, which I mean, I often see us on here, joking about saying it's a bunch of angry old niggas, instead of elders. But like that's the huge thing. Like I talked about this in one of the videos on my page, because I came up in the community as a Pan African, like a lot of delineators have. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us was Pan African first. You know what I'm saying? But I seen the importance of delineation and embracing my heritage as a Black American, and I started noticing within Pan Africanism don't teach Black Americans to embrace our heritage and to be proud of it. And anytime we exude any kind of greatness, cultural or otherwise, it gets chalked up to Africa. But then on the other hand, we get told we don't have no culture. So which one is it? Do we have a culture or do we not? You know what I mean? And then, but no. So the other piece, with it being hard for certain people to let go, again, back to the generational divide, most of these Pan-Africanists are up there in age, and they've been doing this thing, pounding the pavement sincerely in the name of Pan-Africanism. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give back to the youth, put on programming, you know what I'm saying, feeding, teaching, you know what I'm saying, like studying till their eyeballs about to fall out. They've been doing that for decades. You know what I'm saying? And now here we come, a new generation, calling ourselves American, when in Pan-Africanism, you spell America with 3 Ks. So it's like a ideological culture shock to them. Like, man, what are you talking about? You embracing America? But that's what it is. But like when you force yourself to like really, really look at it, it kind of goes back to this, it's like a subconscious messianic posture that Black Americans have, where we feel like we got to sacrifice for everybody. That's why the main progenitors of Pan-Africanism are foundational Black Americans. And we kind of see the African immigrants who come over here as, we kind of got to be patient with them because we really supposed to lead this thing. But you think about it, like the main 3 gripes I got with Pan-Africanism is to feel the cross-ethnic Pan-African love. Foundational Black Americans always got to go over to Africa to feel that. Like I was in a sharp but respectful discussion with a sister whom I've known in the community for years, who's a Pan-African, and she corrected me when I said ain't nobody practicing Pan-Africanism on the continent. Nope, that's not true. There's pockets of it. You know what I'm saying? You got little enclaves here and there. You know what I'm saying? And she was naming me specific shit because she travels back and forth. But my thing is, I rebutted to that and I said, we always have to go over there though. Pan-Africans in Africa don't send none of their soldiers over here to come and help us build here. You know what I'm saying? We always got to go over there. And then 2, like I said a second ago, it doesn't teach us to embrace our heritage and our history and culture as Black Americans. And then 3, what was my third one? You know what? When I remember the third one, I'll put it in the comments, but that's my thing. And I'll drop down unless you want to reply. Got a question for me or something.
I mean, I like that point. There are pockets of people who do it, and they practice that. There are pockets of Americans who do that. And we're not talking about every single person. When we talk about the continent or even the Caribbean, nobody at all is saying that any single person and every single person in Africa, on the whole continent of Africa, thinks one way. Nobody's making that argument. Or that argument about the Caribbean. Nobody's making that argument. But when we talk about them in a general sense, we're talking about the collective. Because if the majority thought a certain way, then the conditions would be different. That's what we're saying. Mm-hmm. So it's clear that the majority does not believe in that. All right. Mm-hmm. When Marcus Garvey was probably talking about Pan-Africanism in Jamaica before he came to America, the only place it existed. When he was talking about Pan-Africanism there was probably a couple of people, but clearly he was rejected by the majority due to the fact that there are still tribal beefs and wars going on. That showcases and verifies that the majority of people are not seeing all of everybody in Africa as kin. They don't do that. They don't have that relationship with each other. That is the collective. All right. And we see that and we need to acknowledge that. So I'm glad you brought that point up.
I remember my third thing too. The third thing is Pan African, and you touched on this a second ago too.
Hmm.
Within the Pan Africanist community, particularly the Black American Pan Africanist community, they chastise us for defending ourselves against anti-Black American xenophobia from the diaspora, but they don't check the ones who starting it. They only get on us for replying to it.
Yeah, that's indeed true.
Yeah,
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
all day.
Let's get to American Naji.
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's going on, brother?
How's everything?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I just, I guess my perspective on it. I mean, it's called Pan Africanism,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a ridiculous title because if you're trying to include everybody with melanin, everybody ain't African. So I mean, I think that kind of defeats the whole thing in itself. You know, we're not Africans. You know, I don't have no African family members on the continent. How am I African? Why should I be practicing Pan Africanism? And then how does it benefit my people over here in America? You know, it just doesn't benefit us at all. You know, I think Garvey and people like that, I think they were self-hating because Garvey, even himself, he can't point to no ethnic group on that continent that has his family, you know, family members and stuff like that. That's self-hate, man. That's pure self-hate. You know, I'm American. Why would I uphold Africa? It doesn't even make sense. It just don't make no sense. You know, and like the brother said, there's no ethnic pride. These Pan Africans don't have no pride in their own lineage, but they want to uphold a whole continent. It just doesn't make sense. It's foolishness, and I think teaching that to our kids is teaching our kids to have low self-esteem, no self-worth.
Mm.
So I think we have to do away with that. That's complete foolishness. That Pan-Africanism should be purely for Africans, continental Africans, to get it together. You know, not for the whole world. You know, it's ridiculous, brother. But
Mm.
that's what I wanted to add into that.
Mm. You know, and this kind of reminds me of something I said earlier about the fact that Pan Africanism to the Black American, it's turned into almost something, a feeling of belonging. You're attached to this ideology because this ideology fulfills a hole that because of racism has created this hole of mystery telling you don't really know where you're from or you're not really from here. And because of this hole of not feeling that you belong there, Pan-Africanism artificially fills that hole. And that's why they don't want to leave, because they feel a sense of belonging and familyhood with the continent instead of embracing that feeling that you should have in America. And that's what we're saying. The feeling of not knowing where we're from and not really belonging here, and we belong in some distant tribe that doesn't exist, that's extinct on the continent. We should not have that. We need to have that here. And the people who cannot move on, they can't move on because they are emotionally attached. It's not a strategic thing. They're emotionally attached to the sense of identity that Pan-Africanism gives them. It's too often people can't move past that, and it's a sad thing. Let's get to Dexter.
Yeah, much love to the panel. Why can't folks move on from Pan Africanism? Because as Black Americans, we was always taught about we naturally look at things as Black unity. You know what I mean? We naturally do that, and I think the reason why is because they can't let it go because it says uh, it doesn't believe in Black unity when you have a person like a FBA. But to have complete Black unity, we have to take care of ourselves first, so everybody else can start following what we're doing. So the Pan Africans, I think it's retarded because you're not in Africa. I think
I
Pan
don't think you can say that.
Africanism.
I don't think you can say that word.
You can't say that word. You can't say
Oh, I
that word.
apologize.
Now let's hold.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, because
You said the R word,
No,
you
brother.
can't say
Can't
it.
the
say
R
it.
word,
That
right?
puts the lives at risk.
I apologize. I apologize. Okay, okay, I got you. Yeah, so it looks better in Africa. It doesn't look good in America when you're preaching that. But the reason why they can't, because just like us, we hold the moral code of the planet. So these people are um stuck in their old ways and they want to hold on to it. So it's basically like a religion. So they can't let it go because it's like a shock. But in reality, this is more better because after they follow what we do, then if the whole planet uh the whole diaspora just focus on themselves and then come together, then we can come together. But right now we have to focus on ourselves. Much love.
All right. All right. All
I'm
right.
waiting. You pop your head back in that camera quick as
I get up for 1 second to get my charge. I'm like,
He
damn.
left.
Oh my god.
He left. You was
I,
helping me stay on beat, bro. I was looking at you and then you got up. Then much love, y'all.
yeah. Much love, brother.
peace.
FBA Wolfie, talk to us, sister. Talk to us.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? You
Good.
Hi.
know, I you know how I think, y'all. Like I be thinking outside the box, so I hope you understand. Why can't folks move on from Pan African? I think they're indoctrinated to think that all Black Americans was imported over here. Majority of the Black Americans throughout history was never imported. They was naturally born over here.
Mm.
388,000, over 5 million naturally born over here. They only imported 388,000, so they claim. Those millions on top of millions on top of millions was made on this land, for centuries. And with Pan African, they want you to believe that those millions and millions and millions was made in Africa, and it never was. And it's a hard concept because that concept came due to racism. Indoctrine came to racism. It wasn't like they were saying this overnight and people start believing it. The people of color start saying it, and then the enslaved start saying it after emancipation. It was indoctrination because Africa supposed to be where the Africans go. Not all Black Americans consider themselves African, and not all Black Americans was from Africa. They was not imported. They was naturally born in America for centuries. Their bloodline is not on any other continent. When Martin the Lady, he came up with the Pan African or the Black nationality, he said Africa was for Africans. And I keep saying this because he was getting kicked out of Harvard. He was a free person of color. His bloodline was never enslaved in the United States. He got mad because he couldn't get his privilege of going to Harvard and that it was still racism here. But he didn't want to go to Africa after he visited because it was undeveloped and then it was colonized. For that gentleman that was saying that no white tea been all through Africa, so has the Portuguese, the French, and the Chinaman, the Russian, and it's so many. Spain, they all colonized that country. The leadership that they have is following the white man leadership.
Mm-hmm.
They do everything that the Western world do to get approval. It's no Pan-Africanism because there's no confidence. Africa don't have confidence. If they did, they wouldn't follow Western world. They'll create their own world and say that's good. Now, why we got the indoctrination is because they played on our self-esteem. And it's time for us to, you know, get over it. We are Americans. Pan African has never done anything for the American over here. But you have seen throughout history, has Pan African that was Americans have done stuff for Africa, and Africans don't even appreciate it. Even the fact that they over here scamming, not appreciated. They over here calling us jurias, not appreciative. You know? So When it comes to Pan African, it slowly passed away because we was getting played. Basically, they did not care about us as we cared about them. And even as you can see, the person that's laughing, your people is over here in America did not never suffer lynching, did not never suffer Jim Crow, did not never suffer the sugar canes, the sugar fields, tobacco fields, the cotton fields, or anything that we had to endure. Did not never suffer the acres of land getting removed from. They don't have to because we fight for people not to be discriminated, and we also fight for people to live wherever they want. They coming over here and scamming is disrespectful. They don't have no Pan Africanness, so Pan Africanness is suffering because it's not a togetherness. They don't. We do for others, others don't do for us, but we're getting utilized and used. And the fact that they don't realize that millions and millions was born over here, we didn't get imported, and that's a big statement in the land.
Right. All right.
Actually, can I piggyback off of what she's saying? We were in a live the other night, and what we realized is, remember when natives were being rushed off their land, the indigenous, all of them, they were getting rushed off their land. Some opted to come into our communities, and that's why you see a big hike in our census forms during certain times. So when they were reclassified to Negro or Black, that's because they came into our communities. Also, she's right with the whole birth here, because those who were taken mixed in with those here, and they birthed us here. We weren't imported all from Africa. Like they be trying to say 12 million this and that, 12 million this and that. 12 million didn't come to the United States of America. The new number is like 100,000 or something like that by Harvard. So they could go check that out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate
No
that.
problem.
Let's get to, and if y'all disagree, before we continue, feel free to come up. Y'all, we had a respectful back and forth with somebody who disagreed, a Pan Africanist who disagreed. He didn't call us out our name. We didn't call him out his name. And we did move on and agree to disagree just so we can get more people there. But you can see we're not no echo chamber. So if y'all disagree, if y'all have a question, request up. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Because y'all brave in the chat room, but y'all scared on the mic. So that's, nah, we ain't doing that. Let's get to my brother Omega.
Be one, everybody.
Like first, brother.
Yeah, man. A lot of people well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but the people that are still holding on to Pan Africanism are basically using it as a veil. We gotta ask ourselves, like, because Pan Africanism, there's no real clear definition of what it actually is. It's just kind of something that we've been throwing around like a slogan, and we've been true to it. I ain't gonna sit up here and pretend like I didn't have Pan African views at one point, but a lot of people have walked away from that type of thinking because they've seen that it's not reciprocal. Those who are still on that typically have something to gain. You got tethers who use it as a way to latch on and, you know what I'm saying, claim flat blackness and thereby claiming all of the accomplishments that we've put on the scoreboard. Then you have people who are actually sincere, but a lot of them are holding on to it for nostalgic reasons because they see Pan-Africanism as what, you know, basically progressed their life to a degree by bringing them into consciousness and whatnot. And I have no problem with them doing that. But where it becomes a problem is when we get people who are out here preaching it just for the sake of making us one big Negro, and that's not what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And that whole mentality is going by the wayside because of the disrespectful people who come over here cosplaying and pretending to be us. And it's always some disingenuous BS behind those who are still rocking with that. I'm sorry, my kids in here tripping, man. I have to come back up. Y'all go ahead.
And who say Black Americans don't have no daddies?
On point. Now, I'm glad people bringing up the non-FBA set of Pan Africanists too, though, because I was really thinking about it just from a Black American perspective while we hold on to, or while we can't move in from Pan Africanism. But yeah, I think from the other side, there is a bit of leeching going on there. You know, a little bit of, they're trying to use our blackness for convenience or for benefits, for resources to attach themselves to Black Americanness, and through ways of Pan Africanism. So yeah, I'm glad they bring that up too.
It's exploitive. Yeah, it really
Yes.
is. That's true. Let's get to. He's handling the children right now, so let's get to Lakeside Nick.
What's that, the captain?
What's going on, brother?
I'm good, brother. So, first things first, man. I want to commend you. I really like the panel. I really like how you do your thing here. I'm very new to TikTok, but it's like some of the panels I've tried to speak on. These people are kind of like they kind of rabid, right? You can't even get your words out. But anyway, let me get to the point. Why folks can't move on from Pan Africanism? I truly believe, and first of all, I'm Haitian, right? I'm born and raised here in Miami uh, in the 80s. And my parents came here literally. One of them came here on a boat, right? So, my perspective, I feel like I'm just trying to give you guys something that I feel like hopefully you find valuable. It comes from I'm looking at this movie from back in the day, In Too Deep, if you remember it, with LL, and there's a part of it that I'll never forget where you were riding around with Omar, what's his name? I forget his name, but
Oh
Omar
my.
riding around.
was Omar. Okay, yeah, he's riding with Omar.
Yeah, that. Uh, yeah, but anyway, the point is, he was just telling man, look at these people out here suffering, and he basically got to the point where he's like, all they really want, people want to belong to something. And he was, that was his way of saying that's why I started this gang and yada yada. But it's just a human basic need, I feel like. And I myself, of course, I adhered to a lot of Pan Africanism beliefs at a very early age, being born and raised down here. Um, Mainly because of just feeling a sense of camaraderie with Black people altogether. I remember at elementary school, it was they had to tell me to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance because I seen how they was treating Black Americans, and at home I didn't speak English, so I understood that. Okay, yeah, we different, but at the same time we ain't outside this home we're not different. And so it was like to this day, paying attention to getting familiar with the new Black media. I've been listening to the new Black media since goddamn 2011 maybe, but so Black First was always the theme that kind of made me gravitate towards the message. And fast forward, here we are to FBAs, and I feel like it's fantastic for y'all. It is a beacon of hope, I feel like, for the whole diaspora if they would actually stop being so goddamn hard headed and take a page out of what you guys are doing, because so goes Black America, so goes the rest of the world. So, I could just imagine Black Americans getting reparations and everybody else actually waking up and following suit as they've been doing with everything else with the culture, from music to dance and whatever. And it's like it's just for me. I just wanted to get on here to give you guys your flowers and let you guys know that the message is getting through. I mean, I would hope. I'm one of the folks that's always been very watchful and vigilant for Black folks altogether. I'm a true believer in Black First principles, and so you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and land my plane right there. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
and I'm glad that you're up here, and the fact that you can say that, uh, it showcases that what we're doing is not out of some type of gripe we have with anybody else. What we're doing is not out of some issue we have. This is not a reaction. This is not a way to get back at anybody from the diaspora. There's a little bit of background noise, so I'm just gonna mute your mic. But yeah, there's we're not trying to do this. This is the way forward. This is really the only path to success. Being black first is that way. All right. That's how everybody I feel in the world needs to be. If you're in Haiti, if you're in Jamaica, if you're in Africa, if you're in this, if you're in that, this is how you need to be. And by us doing what we're doing, hopefully, like you said, everybody else kind of gets on board, which is what we've done before. This is Black Americans have always like set this precedent and then put the stepping stone forward, and then other people have gotten along, other people have followed along, and this is what needs to happen, because this is not out of I want to do good so I don't want you to do good. No, this is what happens when we have reorganized and reevaluated first off a relationship with other people, and therefore we reprioritize what needs to be prioritized. Okay, that's the only way for anybody to get ahead, because if reparations doesn't happen in America, then we can forget about really anything. All right. This is the front line for right now anything. So if you're in Haiti, you should do what's best for your Haitian people. Now, if you're in America, you should be doing what's in the best interest of Black Americans. This is one of the things, and I'm glad you came in and you shown respect and you told us, because if I was in another person's land, you need to follow what the locals are doing, and you need to be a voice multiplier to what the locals are doing and what they're advocating for and what they're championing. That's what needs to happen. You need to assist them in their movement, because you're not in your homeland, you're in their homeland. So when you're on another person's ship, you got to follow that captain. When you're on your own ship, you follow your own captain. You know what I'm saying? So I can appreciate, like when we have the rally for reparations, we have some Nigerians and we have some Caribbeans that come in and they participate, and that's a beautiful thing, because when you're on somebody else's land, when you're on somebody else's ship, you got to follow how they sail. All right. The only problem that I have when some people they get on a ship and then they want to grab the wheel and start determining where we go. No, when you're on somebody else's ship, when you're in somebody else's land, you got to follow what the locals and the natives are talking about. So as long as you all do that and we're all respectful and kumbaya, we can have a beautiful relationship. I believe in that. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to have newcomers come on to the ship and then tell us, actually, I think we should go left. No, we're not having that. So that's where we are with it.
Real quick, if I may. That part where you spoke about how it's not a malicious type of intent. I mean, it should be. It's not rocket science. When I look at it, again, like being born and raised here, and I was born in '83. So when everybody was talking about Zopound and all that stuff, and the wars between what they called, because black Americans here, we used to call y'all Yanks, right? If you're not familiar. Huh?
I am.
Yeah, so definitely. But so it was like it just really was between Haitians and Zos. There was supposed to be some type of rift, right? I never understood where it came from, but at the end of the day, I was never fucked with. Like, I'm sorry for cursing, but it's like, I was just, for some reason, like, I don't know, maybe because a lot of folks tell me they couldn't tell that I was Haitian, but I never tried to hide it. But at the same time, I never understood the rift. I guess it came, but I guess what I'm trying to say is ultimately, when people do talk about, oh, I was being, I'm being bullied, I was being bullied by Black Americans, y'all talking about high school and middle school. That's the only, like, it's 9 times out of 10 is that. I don't know of no grown-ups running around here calling Africans booty scratchers and Haitians, calling people dirty Haitians as grown-ups. My neighbor, Ann, she was a nurse and she was Black American. She was the nicest person in the world to me. Like I used to love going to her, and she used to invite me to her home, and it's like I noticed how my parents were kind of tense about that. I never understood that energy, but I was like, man, shit, and cool as hell, like and so it just for me it was never a thing where I felt like it came from your side because, as we all know, we wouldn't be here without you guys. So if anybody is, and that's another thing too. People don't know no history. That's another thing. Like I can't hide behind that, but I know for a fact though it's an aggravating factor because these people come over here and they don't study shit. Excuse my language again. I'm sorry, but it's like and I've always been a history buff, so I'm very yeah. That's pretty much my 2 cents, man. It ain't a lot of the stuff that people are saying about they're supposed to be in almost rage bait if you were born and raised in this type of environment where I grew up around Jamaicans. My neighborhood was unincorporated Dade County. So it's like they call it. We called it Lakeside. That's why it's Lakeside Nick. So nevertheless, I grew up. It was the city wasn't too far. The city was all Black Americans.
I'm gonna give you a brief time because we still got to get some.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah. But the point is, in our area, like if you grew up in this environment where you seen so many different types of Black folks, and you know for a fact how immigrant Blacks talk about Black Americans, it's almost rage bait. And I can understand where you guys come. It's rage. I have a lot of empathy for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and land my plane there, man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, let's be honest with it. And the thing is that they come here and they do that because a lot of them, and truth be told, and we're gonna have to tell the truth tonight. Truth be told, a lot of them come over here and by fleeing, it takes something out of you. By having to run away from your ethnicity, from your culture, you almost leave a part of that. So really they're lashing out, and it's a lot of projected self-hatred, to be very honest, because a lot of you don't really feel too prideful. A lot of the anger and animosity they feel stems from jealousy. The people who are sitting up there calling us akadas and this, and we don't got no culture and all of that, that's a psychological coping mechanism. Okay. When a bully in high school, when he's picking on the smart kid, he's picking on the smart kid because he's not getting good grades. And he's so upset and angry and jealous and envious of the fact that this person gets A's and B's easily. And I'm struggling, and the best I can get is a D minus. So yeah, I'm going to push him and steal his lunch money and make fun of him because I need to do something to feel good about myself. And this is what they have done because they have no feeling of esteem. All right. They don't have it back in their homeland and they don't have it here. So what they have done is they've decided to almost bully who they feel like they can, to feel somewhat good about themselves. That's why they live in this delusion that they do so great, and they have to like speak in this echo chamber and believe in this delusion because internally they suffer from so much ethnic self-esteem. Okay. And now that we're calling that out, they're projecting high school bullying into something that has reached their adulthood, which we know it hasn't. You understand? So it's kind of deep. The psychological issues they have is really deep. But the problem is, or the reality, I would say, not the problem, but the reality of the situation is that we don't deserve that. And we are no longer going to tolerate it. Whatever psychological issues that anybody, and this doesn't just include the Africans and Caribbeans, the Asians, the Hispanics, whatever psychological inferiority complex that they are suffering from is not our doing and is not our responsibility, nor will it any longer be tolerated. And that's it. Okay. You can ask ICE.
You should.
Uh,
Let me see.
Whitney has a question that she would like to ask really fast.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the difference between Marcus Garvey, Walker Plecker, and the Somalian scammers? Because now they calling themselves black. What's the difference between those two? Because Marcus Garvey, we had the whole Marcus Garvey movement. So, and he got in bed with Walker Plecker and the Triple K. When you look at the Somalians, they got in bed with today's version of the Triple K, the government, and they scam. What's the difference between those two?
I guess there is none. I'm not okay. Yeah, I guess.
Somalians think they white tea.
Yes, the Somalians are trying to claim that they're Arab. Really?
But do they have a lot of similarities? Between what he done when he was living and what they doing now?
I think that for the most part, Marcus Garvey scammed us. They scammed the government, but the government is, I don't want to say the government is us. That's all I got. That's all I got. Marcus Garvey scammed the people. They scammed the government, which affects us too. So I think they one in the same. One is just Jamaican and one is just African.
Now,
Wolfie.
did you have a follow up to the?
No, I really want to see if is they because when they always using this Pan African when they need us. And Marcus Garvey used it to gain monetary business, everything. So I'm just trying to see is when they come to America, they use the blackness to get the black community, and then it, I just can't get that last thought out, and I thought y'all might help me with it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think for the most part, they was scamming the government, right? But Marcus Garvey was scamming us. I don't think he scammed the government. And those bonds he had when he got arrested, I think the government financed Marcus Garvey. I'm gonna be honest. So when he got arrested and put in jail, was able to make an album, like a song or something. He became like an artist. And then the bonds was worthless, but he was dressing really nice, had really nice threads. Where did he get the money from? Who was funding him in those days? And Somalians scammed the government, but Somalians, Apple, I gotta tell you this. They're going around now, you don't really be on this app like that, but they're laying claim to Minnesota saying it was promised to them from 3,000 years ago. And if you think,
That's them trying to mock Israel. That's why they're doing it.
right, no, right. But okay, given the history that they come from WAR torn countries, I see they setting up shop in Seattle and California. Is it likely that they would try to attack somebody? They're not going to do the government, but would they try to do that much of an emulation that they start attacking people? Because they do have GANGS out there, but I mean more on a bigger level, really thinking that they got ties to the land and should be going to bat for it, WAR for it.
No, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. I don't predict. I don't think that they will do that. When it comes to the deportation thing, Trump and here's the thing: it's a little bit too late. Trump was a little bit too late on the thing with that because a lot of them they've been here for a couple generations, so getting them denationalized is not an easy thing. He can't just sign an executive order and do that because that would then break the Constitution. So a lot of that he's talking about the newer arrivals of Somalians. As far as the ones who were here before, there's not too much he can do as far as getting them deported. So I mean, that's just the law speaking. Right now they've kind of been would I say that they would resort to violence? Not any more than the Hispanics would. I wouldn't predict it any more than the Hispanics are doing that. Because they don't really make up the population percentage to have that type of uprising. They're only located in one sort. They're only located in selective, concentrated areas. They don't have the resources. They don't have extended help from outside of the country. It's not like the Hispanic community where they have millions of them all like pretty much in every major city. They don't have that. So for them to organize and strategically try to have some type of revolt or revolution in this country, I don't see them doing that. Maybe a couple of them, but I don't really see them doing that like that.
I think we're comparing them to the wrong people if we say Latino. Somalians think they're Arab. And no tea, no shade, but Arab, some extremists were going to buildings with boomers on their body. That's all I'm putting out there. But y'all know I don't believe in fear mongering. But that's the one thing I was thinking about Afro. I think it would be like we shouldn't compare them to Latinos if they think they Arab and Arab.
Yeah, I mean, but as true as that is, and the Arab extremists and stuff like that, that cause is not going to help them stay in this country. That cause is not going to. There's nothing that there's no violence that they can ensue that would help them stay in this land. That would help them stay in this country.
Okay.
What they're trying to now do is prove to be more American by making these claims. If they do extremist things, that would have the whole society become hostile towards them, which is what they're not trying to do. So there could be some extremists, I'm not going to throw that out the window, but I don't think a majority of them, not that we should fear. I don't think a majority of them is going to be on that type of page.
Okay, just thinking, because I found it really weird for them to try to act like there is not, because I don't like to say the whole name. Like, what does that, to me, when you go biblical like that, right? Yeah. Because that's what people base their claims off of to be radical.
Well, you have to understand. Well, I mean that's true, but majority of the Somalian community are Muslim, so they believe in the Quran. The
Right.
claim that a land was specifically there for a certain group of people, they're getting that from Israel's claim that in Genesis, which is the first book of the Bible, which is also in the Old Testament, which is in the Torah, which is what they believe in, has designated Israel for the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, which is really Abraham's sons' descendants. So they believe that they have an inherited land that is sectioned off for them by the book of Genesis. And in the Quran, it doesn't say that for them, for Somalian people.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I know a little bit about a little bit of stuff. I know a little bit. Yeah. Let me see. The next person who Omega, were you able to put the kids to bed?
Yeah, I got him cooled
Okay.
off. We went in there arguing and stuff, man. My bad.
Uh-huh.
But no, to finish my point that I was at earlier, man, like in terms of Pan
They're
Africanism.
the 12 tribes of Ismail. Well, okay, well,
Ishmael, is that what they said?
Israel. Well, because we're not going to get into that, because the thing is that technically he had two children. He had two sons. So there's a thing going on. But I think it was Jacob or Israel, which is what they call him. He had 12 sons, and each one of his 12 sons is a tribe. So that's why they call it the 12 tribes of Israel. And then you had Ismail, or his other son, and then his other son had children. He had like a whole bunch of children, and those are different tribes. So it was a lot of different distinct tribes and stuff like that. But this is not like the conversation about that.
All right.
Jacob is Israel, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. In terms of Pan Africanism, man, like I don't know if you ever read the 48 Laws of Power, but it talks about how people try to create hierarchies, regardless of what type of level they're on. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to go in depth in it, but more or less, that's what a lot of the people who hold on to that Pan-African belief are trying to do. You look at Mr. Smalls, I won't get too deep into it, but when you look at everything that he was doing in terms of the dissing and all of that stuff, and you look at the psychology behind it, like he's really and truly, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds with him, but like just as a case study, like he's really and truly one of those people. And another doctor that we all know are the same way, the most requested. It's a ego thing. Where else can you go where just simply having knowledge, not actually implementing knowledge, but just having knowledge makes you some type of goat, you know what I'm saying, in your own mind, where people will listen to you? Because a lot of these people, like, I'll be honest, I didn't know who Mr. Smalls was until seeing Hidden Colors, like a lot of people. But it puts you, once you actually see him, now you know who he is, and you see Tariq giving him praise, it kind of makes him feel like, all right, well, I always should have been, you know what I'm saying? And then you look at the different things that he does, the way he moves and the way others move. That's really what it boils down to, the hierarchy, a power struggle. And if you study power dynamics, you know, it all makes sense. But I ain't gonna hold it too long, man. I'll let my plane know.
And a lot of that is because of the fact that people who reach a certain age believe that everybody who is younger than them knows less than them. That's the reality. And that's something that in our community we are really going to have to get over. We got too many people who, when they reach a certain age, they just feel as if, well, I've lived longer than you, so I know more than you. First off, they feel like the era that they lived in, whatever era that was like the height of everything. Nothing was worse than that. So they feel as if everything any other younger generation goes through is less significant than what they went through. And any other knowledge that they've learned is kind of more insignificant. They feel as if they are almost a parent. All right. And they expect the respect and reverence of a parent. And in this generation, we're realizing like, hey, all of this older worship and you can't say anything to the elders. And I get respect for the elders, but the respect for the elders does need to have healthy boundaries. And too long, we have not had healthy boundaries for elders. Elders have been damn near pedestalized like they're gods or something in the community. And they do a lot of messed up stuff. We got elders that do a lot of hating on younger people and messed up stuff on younger people. And we're told that they are above criticism and above reproach because they've reached a certain age in life. And we got to get past that.
I told you we gotta do a live on that. Because some of these elders, yeah. They gotta get checked for sure. We should definitely do a live on that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I think we're gonna get to Cat.
Hey, what's up, brother Afro Elite? Peace to the panel. I'm chilling, bro. I'm so glad we're having this discussion. Um, you know, I'll just go ahead and answer the prompt first, and I'll kind of veggie back off of what you just said and brother Omega just said. So why can't folk move on from Pan-Africanism? I think it's really a crisis of consciousness. I think people are holding on to the good times that they had in their Pan-African days, and like Professor Smalls, for example. Now I've been following a lot of these guys before there was Hidden Colors even came out. I ate dinner with Professor Smalls on 125th and stuff like that. Brother Jabari. Some of y'all know my background with Brother Jabari. And a lot of these guys, years ago, they were moving like, big names in the community. Now, the whole uh the whole United States did not know them, or the whole world did not know them, but a lot of people did know them. So they were moving with like kind of a small level rock star mentality. And so it's like an ego that comes with that. So Professor Smalls, he can't see, and I'm not, a mind reader, but I'm just talking based off of what I see. A lot of these guys, they can't see a world where they're not making money the way they used to 10 years ago off of Pan Africanism, or 5 years ago off of Pan Africanism. They can't see a world where um, people are not running up to them in the streets asking for a picture or autograph. You know what I'm saying? Oh, asking when you're gonna go do another museum tour. People coming up want to sign a book, and the nerds and stuff in the community, they want a book signed at the museum in the community or whatever. But uh, like you were saying, a lot of these older people, they got to get checked. And I'm be honest with y'all, man. Brother Jabari, I'm gonna have to put him in the same box with Professor Smalls, because I got receipts of him. He was on my Facebook page saying, "Oh, why are you calling yourself FBA?" And I told him, like, this is a lineage, and so on and so forth. And he's like, "Oh, why are you following uh Tariq Nasheed's movement?" And I said, no, it's not a movement. I kept reiterating, this is a lineage. And it's like, I don't know, these guys, I think they feel threatened that the money and the power is drying up. No more museum trips and museum tours. No more running to Kemet or Egypt. No more running no more book signings. All of that's over with. And I seen some people talking trash and doubling down with this Pan-Africanism. All right, y'all keep playing games if you want to. We going full speed ahead. This delineation movement is not going to stop.
No.
And yeah, and I seen it. I can name more names, but I ain't gonna do that. But yo, y'all know who they are. They were quick to take money from our brother Tariq Nasheed, but then y'all want to talk trash about Tariq Nasheed when he's not in the room. Brother Jabari, Dr. Reggie. Look at me. I said I was gonna name names. But yeah, a lot of these people was in Hidden Colors, and y'all was cool with the money when that check came for y'all because y'all was involved with Hidden Colors. But y'all have a problem with the delineation movement, and it's because it's also ego. That's a big thing. That Pan Africanism, we ain't rocking with it no more, and they feel like that means we're not rocking with them. Well, guess what? If you stand in the way of FBA business, lineage business, yeah, we ain't rocking with you either. So I land with that.
And to harp on that real quick, and that's the craziest thing, because nobody is making anybody join the movement. Nobody is forcing anybody to join the movement. You want to be Pan-Africans. Nobody is coming to y'all events and sabotaging that. Nobody is doing nothing against you guys. But what's happening is that now that we're speaking truth and people are starting to really reevaluate themselves and their relationship to this land and into the diaspora, people are starting to reprioritize things. And y'all don't want, these people who have issue don't want people to lose the fantasy of Africa. They treat Africa like this fantasy, and they're the gatekeepers of it. Okay, what's that one character in Harry Potter who's all like, you shall not pass, he's the gatekeeper and shit. Okay, they treat it like that. So they get money off of tours and this fantasy of, well, this book will really let you know about your ancestral hair texture and all of this stuff. And all of that stuff that, the clock is ticking on that. Okay. They've milked the cow dry on all of that stuff because they've exploited the community's feeling of almost being lost or deserted. Okay, they've exploited the community's feeling of not having a sense of belonging to some place, And they felt like, well, I can teach you about your African heritage, and I can teach you about we will take you to Africa, and I will show you where you're really from and all of that. And now that people are starting to lose their feeling of, I guess, their feeling of distant Africa, or their feeling of being lost. Because now foundational Black Americans, we're telling you we're not lost, we're home. So that's drying up a lot of their money. So a lot of them are mad at Tariq because they see it as, well, Tariq started all this. And the bag is getting dry because of what Tariq did. You know what I'm saying? So they're looking at it like that, which just shows a lack of character in a lot of them. Because even though they're on a different page with Tariq, Tariq's not out there dissing them. He's not out there pulling up YouTube videos and trying to debunk them. He's still putting them on. There's people he had quite that are sitting up there talking slick out the side of their neck about him. Like from a year ago. They were at his event, and now they talking. It just shows what they made of. It just really shows what they made of.
But not only that, not only are they drying up their funds or businesses, but it's also drying up the clout. I think a lot of Black Americans, at least, that come, I mean, honestly, even non-FBAs that come over here, at least, Black people that come into consciousness, when you first start your journey, if you didn't come from, especially if you didn't come from that, within your household, if your parents weren't really conscious, they were really pro-Black. If you found your way into that around like 2014, probably anywhere between like before 2017, the main thing that you was going to see, the first thing you was going to see first, whenever you researched it, especially on the internet or YouTube, you're going to run into Pan-Africanism first. Us seeing this new wave of, or this heightened wave of, American indigenous being talked about, our roots here, our recent history. That's being more popularized now, especially because of the new Black media. People like me, you, even Tariq, other people, younger people at that, who are really pushing it. So when you look up Black American, the first thing you get is not always going to be, especially when you're looking on TikTok, which a lot of young people are now, you're not going to run into Pan-Africanism first or only.
Regular size eggnog shake with cheesecake.
You're not going to run into that. First or only, should I say. A lot of it's going to be a mix. Or if you put in the right terms, you put in Black American Indigenous, you put in American Indian, you're going to run into delineation, propaganda. So I think that's the thing that they're seeing as well. Is like, oh, so we're not, that the spotlight is kind of coming off of Pan-Africanism. And they not really feeling that. It's just a new wave happening. It's a delineation movement that's happening. And it's hard for them to keep denying because, especially with the young people onto it, it's furthering the delineation movement. It's making it even more impactful.
Real talk. Yeah, that's true. That's real talk. All right. I appreciate everybody's patience. I really do. I really, really do. I gotta lean back. I told y'all I was in the gym. I gotta lean back, stretch a little bit. Lord have mercy. I'm tense. But I do it for the people. It's a sacrifice I'm making. I'm sacrificing my comfortability for the movement. All right. Don't tell me I don't make sacrifices. All right. Now let's get to let's get to LAQ.
Hello.
I love
Can
you
you
too,
hear
Robin.
me?
Shout out to Robin. I love you. Oh, she said I'll help you. I don't know why I read that. Yeah, okay. Shout out to Robin. Appreciate that.
It's love though. It's still all love.
Much love. I just saw the heart. I'm like, oh, I love Robin. Okay. Yeah, but
Can you hear
I've
me?
seen Robin. Robin's been hitting that like button a lot. So Robin's, and which is what everybody needs to do. Let's everybody tap the screen. I'm all like, here, there, Robin, go support me. That's what I'm talking about. Representing. All right, you got it, sister. You can go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone.
How you doing?
And just like I want to say maybe it was the guy before last gave you guys your flowers. I would like to give you guys some flowers too. Um you guys like really put me onto a lot of information because I'm real late to the game. And I know that it's like sometimes it might seem repetitive, but what you guys are doing is so great. You just have to keep it up because you are reaching new people every day. Like I was one of those new people that you reached from all of these years that you guys have been at it. So, I just want to say that I appreciate you guys. You guys do a great job. BX, of course, Afro, ZZ, and there's another guy that's usually on you guys' panel, Foundation, I want to say his name is, but you guys have taught me a lot. So I just wanted to say that. Um, when I first found out, I just started like looking around and like trying to get more and more information on it, so I could really have a full understanding of what was going on. Um, when I originally heard about the delineation movement, I was on it immediately. I just thought it was something that needed to be done, and it had nothing to do with Africa or Africans or anything like that. I just thought that it was important that we make sure that we have our race is our race in this country. Like people should not be joining in on like our line if they don't really belong there. And that's not to, put any hate on anybody. Um, and then I, was looking more and more into it. And one of my favorite videos that I watched of you guys was the Pan-Africanist one. It's on YouTube. And I thought it was excellent. It really gave me a good idea of the way even, a lot of the black immigrants thought. And I've watched a lot of other Pan-African things, and I've come to there's a lot of Africans who don't even know about Pan-Africanism. So I think that right there is something that we should really pay attention to. I feel like Pan-Africanism was really geared toward us in America, not even really the Caribbean that much. I really feel like it was more geared toward us. Um, if there are some, because I've heard of somebody in the Caribbean that's really big on it, but if there are some people that's like really big on it, I feel like those people are getting something out of it, like something financial, something they're getting out of it, and they're recruiting people under them to kind of push the message a little bit, so that it can stay alive. But my family particularly, we were never Pan-Africanists, never. Like and my family's from the South Carolina, a small town. Like my great uncle was a farmer down there, so they're Southern, and they were never really on Pan-Africanism. Africa wasn't really a big thing in our home, but one thing that I heard from a lot of Africans is that they don't know about our history. And one thing about it is slavery, right? Oh, we didn't even know about it. They kind of just touched on it in school, but they never really explained it. But then they make disgusting jokes about it. Like, slave babies and just we sold y'all, things like that I just find if you didn't really learn about it, where'd you learn that? I feel like their parents is like saying those things about us. How else would you know to say? I've never heard anybody say anything like that. So how would you know to say things like that if it's not something that's kind of taught to you? So I don't think that they're really for it. They know they can't do it because of the tribes. And I think that they don't, not just that they don't care about their role in the transatlantic slave trade, but it's almost like a pride and a teasing, like, oh, we got sugar for y'all, six crazy things, So that to me, we should not be pushing hard for Pan-Africanism. We can push hard for blackness. I'm good for that. I'm good with that. If it's not an American in the race for the Olympics, I want someone who's black to win. That's the way I am. But I'm always going to rep America, and I don't know why they think that that's so odd that we would like kind of love our country. Of course, we love our country. It's our country. Why would we want to be someplace else? We're not lost. I've never heard the lost thing before them. I find it to be so insulting. Everything that I've heard that they've said is insulting.
True.
So I don't think we should, like, I don't think it should, and even these older people, like, with the FBA movement.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Philly a little bit ago because that's where I'm originally from. I'm currently living in Connecticut, but I was in Philly a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to my two aunts. They're in their 70s, right? And I told them about the FBA movement. They were for it. But then when I was telling them things about what the Democrats have been doing, we've been Democrats, and they have that old set Democrat mind. It is so hard to get them to change. I had to do little steps, little steps. It's hard for them to stop thinking that way. Oh, we gotta vote, and it's like, well, why we gotta vote if it's nobody we should be voting for? But they don't. I think that's going to be the hardest thing to convince them of. The older people is what I mean. The ones that are not like diehard Pan-Africanists, just the ones that we need to be worrying about our business here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, my family knows about my channel. I've known about that for years, and are supportive. Okay, they'll subscribe and they'll check in and be all like, "Keep doing your thing. I see you growing. I see you doing your thing." And they everything I talk about, they'll agree with, except when it comes to voting for the Democrats. When I tell you when it comes to voting for the
Yes.
I
Democrats,
run into that
one
problem
ear
too.
just turn off. Everything goes in one ear and out the other if it goes in an ear.
Yeah.
Okay? If
Yes.
it goes in one, they look at that like, oh my God, you don't know what you're talking about. They honestly see, they like, well, yeah, the Democrats are not perfect. I get it, but we got to understand, who else are we gonna vote for? They just, I
Yes.
feel like they feel they gonna have a heart attack if they miss an election. I honestly think that.
We just gonna burn it
Yeah.
down. The whole
And
country will go up in flames.
I'm sorry, I just want to say one more thing about that. Even if you say, okay, no, we don't have to vote Republican. No, we don't, but we should not just be donating our vote to somebody just because it's what we've been doing. They are literally telling us, no, we're not going to do for you. And I'll list all the things that all these other people have been getting on our backs. And they don't like that. They definitely don't like that. But they still, well, we got to vote for. I mean, it's just like, so I just have to do it a little bit at a time. So, I'm working hard with them. But that really, really is hard.
Mhm.
And as far as the black immigrants, like, oh, where how everybody wants to be black now, and it's not like, oh, we want to be black because we proud, like the way we want to be black and we proud. I feel like they want to be black just to get things, and they know it's wrong. Like for scholarships, they know they shouldn't be applying to certain scholarships. They know this, but they do it anyway because they can pass as black and they got a better chance of getting whatever their goal is. We don't do that. And then
Like
on
Candace
top of
Owens.
that, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, just like Candace Owens, the scholarship she got
Yeah.
in college or whatever the case is, and then she sued
Yeah.
the NAACP. She sued using the NAACP for racism and discrimination. Now it's a whole bunch of them that get scholarships, grants, benefits, and all of that stuff. They get a Dr. King scholarship and whatnot, and then they turn into a Candace Owens talking about Juneteenth is ghetto, and I don't. And George Floyd, he OD'd. They turn into that. Yep.
And just wait, you just brought up Juneteenth, or like as if our holidays, like they don't respect America, and that's fine. That's fine. You ain't got to respect America, but you need to respect us. That's the thing. Regardless of whether we respect America or not, you should be respecting us. You should not be getting revenge on this country by doing it to us. We supposed to be fellow black people, right? So I know that they know what they're doing, and to me that's malicious. I just think, I'm sure there are good people, there's good people, everything, but I think the majority of them are really against us and in competition with us. Us as like black people, we don't compete against other people like that. Maybe in a game or a sport or something like that. But when it comes to life, no, we don't say, oh, I'm gonna get this degree and it's gonna be one more than what the black people have. It's gonna be, no, I'm the first person to get a degree in my family. It's not gonna be against another group of people. And that's their mindset. We don't need a degree to make it in this country. We've learned. We've learned we don't. You need to worry about yourself, and I'll worry about myself. But that competition in life is something's wrong with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We got to make sure we get to the other speakers, but a lot of that comes from a difference in cultural values. Our cultural value is, all for one for all. And that's how we've survived with an all for one and one for all. You had people who freed themselves from slavery and said, I got to go back there to free other people. You know what I'm saying? And we've gotten inspired by that. Nobody looked at that as if that was insanity, even though that was crazy dangerous. To a rational person, going back to a plantation that you fled from doesn't make any sense. But to a heroic person, yes, it does, because everything's not about you. So we had a all for one and one for all type of mentality, and we're expecting to have a coalition with people who have a every man for themselves mentality. And that's this tribalistic mentality. They have a every man for himself. If you have it, that means I can't have it. So I got to take it from you. And that's the reality. It's like water and oil. It can't mix. So we just got to reevaluate, and we got to move accordingly. And that's what we're doing. So thank you very much, sister. I appreciate you. I
Thank you
think
so much for letting me speak.
you're welcome. I think TT was next.
Salute, family. So why can't folk move on from Pan Africanism? Because we're tangibles. That's why. Because we're tangibles. We have always been tangibles to these people. And now, again, here we are that have been able to break free away from the master. Again, we're dealing with the descendants of some of the ones that enslaved our ancestors. And what they're really mad about is now, because for the longest we've always tried to have unity with others throughout the diaspora, right? And so we're doing it out of love, doing it because we're all the same people, we're all melanated and everything else. But that was never their goal for us. It was about what they can get up out of it. And especially for a lot of Africans, it was they wanted us to forget about our ancestors, those same ones that they sold. We were supposed to forget about them and just focus on Africa. And because we are telling their story and we will not allow them to be erased, they feel a certain type of way. Not only that, you can tell that they're still getting, it's like they're still involved with the three-letter people, and they've still been able to benefit up off of us. So now that we're saying, no, we're not dealing with nobody, we're going to focus on us and everything else, you got to remember that once we pull back, they don't have an attachment to us. The world is not going to focus on them like that. They're not going to be able to receive what they have been able to receive off of our backs. And so now they're mad. Now we're starting to see how a lot of them truly been feeling about us from the very beginning. Since the Zulu braids and before then, now we're Akatas, now we're slave babies, now we're alligator babies. That's why our ancestors did this and our ancestors. We're starting to see how they really, truly, truly felt about us all along. And with the Pan Africanism thing, it never existed for them. We've always been the one to try to push it. And for the ones that push it out here, it's about what they can get. It's about the tangibles. Have you guys noticed that every time somebody from the diaspora disrespect us, you don't hear none of these so-called Pan-Africans say nothing to nobody about nothing. But when we respond, then we're xenophobic. When we respond, then we all black and we need to stick together and we need to do this. And why is it that we're always the one that has to be the one to uphold this so-called Pan-Africanism thing when it has never been for everybody else? If we've always been the one to carry it. And what we are telling people now is, we see what you are doing. We are free. Same way we freed ourselves from the white tea people, we freeing ourselves from Africa and anybody else that seemed like that they a slaveholder. We will never allow you guys or anybody else to erase our ancestors and what they, it's about erasure. We are tangibles. That's all we have ever been to these people, is about what they can get up out of us. And now that we have cut that short, now everybody is losing their mind because they don't know how to fight these people the same way that we do. We have always been on the front lines for everybody else. When something goes on, we've always been on the front lines. When they had their foot up on our necks, we was paving the way so that way they wasn't watching them like that. So now that we're saying we're not doing any of that anymore, now we're xenophobic. What about pan-Africanism? Everybody's black all of a sudden, but prior to a year ago, everybody, no, I'm not black. I'm Nigerian. I'm Ghana. I'm Jamaican. I'm all this. Now all of a sudden everybody is black, and it's what's really disturbing to me is to a lot of a lot of the Jamaicans, because at one point, a lot of Jamaicans was cool with us or whatever the case may be. And it's just sad that we got to come to this to where everybody else can claim and they can recognize who they are. And because we are saying no, FBA as a lineage, it's a problem that we are doing it because they cannot connect to the tangibles. It's not about unity. It's about what they can get. And because we cutting them off and we saying no more, now everybody has an issue because without us, look at their homelands. Without us, who gonna fight for them? Without us, when these white tea supremacists go over to these countries and they going through all this stuff, they're not going to have our voices. And what's even more crazy is we have been their biggest allies, and y'all allow these people to get y'all to turn up on us to where you get up on these lives and you get up on TikTok, YouTube, and everything else, and you tell us and you show us how you really feel, instead of y'all saying, you know what, we wrong, let us try to make it right because y'all have been our strongest allies. Let's try to see if we can work some. No, y'all put more pressure up onto it. You do more damage. So handle your business, and we'll see y'all when we see y'all. But there's no such thing as Pan-Africanism because it doesn't exist in the diaspora. It's only been us, and we're not going to be erased. And our blood is not going to be for free. We're not getting down like that.
Yes, indeed. That's deep. Real talk, sister.
Mm.
Real talk. This is what happens when you have a situation where you start a relationship with somebody and you all don't establish early on from the very beginning healthy boundaries. This is what she just expressed. Let me harp on this for a second, and then after that we're gonna move on to the next speaker. When you start a relationship with somebody, whether that's a geopolitical relationship, whether that's a relationship between the government, whether that's a relationship between you and another person or another business, you have to establish in the very beginning of that healthy boundaries. All right. That way everybody is because relationships are transactional, but they should not be exploitative. All right. When you do not establish healthy boundaries, then a transactional relationship that should be mutually beneficial becomes an exploitative relationship. And this has been our relationship with the diaspora, because the Pan-Africanists of yesterday, the Pan-Africanists of old, have treated Africa like the golden child, that they can do no wrong. They put them on this pedestal, and therefore they have not established a healthy boundary between the immigrants coming over here and the Black Americans that have already been here. And due to the fact that that healthy boundary was not established, the requirement of respect was not established early on, they allowed themselves to be the doormats for the immigrants coming over here because they saw Africa as the motherland god or whatever the case is. They said that their race is African. All right. So because of that the boundaryless relationship became exploitative, where now the diaspora has exploited the goodwill and the hard work and the labor of foundational Black Americans to the degree now they feel entitled to it. So now when we say, hey, we're going to be focusing on ourselves, we're going to be focusing on our own business, they feel like we're doing them wrong. They feel like they're owed something for that, and that we're denying them some right or some privilege that they are owed. That's how far it's gotten. That's how bad it's gotten. This is why we got to stop this now. We got to stop this. We have to stop it now. All right. Do you remember who's next, BX? This is a white man talking.
Can I say one thing real quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, real quick.
Okay. So what I wanted to say too is another reason why they're getting upset is because like when we go to their countries, we show respect to the citizens, to the people and everything else. But because we have been put up under this umbrella of blackness, now that we are not allowing them to hide up under us, and their third world ways and what they do up in their homelands, they've been able to hide up under us, even with their crimes and everything else. So now that we have moved about the way, now they feel offended because now everybody get to see how they really getting down, and we not caping for them no more. And that's another reason why a lot of them are getting mad because they felt like for the sake of blackness, we supposed to just allow them to do whatever they want to do. And we all supposed to have unity for them to be able to do that. And that's not how things work.
That's true. This open door thing where you get to come in and you get to throw your trash away. You know, this is the reason. If you guys know, maybe this is a Chicago thing, but in every major city I've been to, I've seen this where restaurants and stuff, they'll lock their dumpsters in the back. If you've worked at a restaurant, if you worked at there, they will have their dumpsters locked because they know other people will come and dump their trash in your dumpster and fill your dumpster with their trash. So it's not you, it's everybody else's stuff. So we've had people dumping their trash in our space. That's what they've been doing. And by allowing them to do that, it sanitizes all of the trash that they have in their community. So it seems like it's us because it's in our spot. You know what I'm saying? And they get to have this sanitized, ideal model minority illusion in a public eye. They get to come over and then be the hardworking exchange student that made it into medical school and became a doctor and brought his whole family to civilization, all of that stuff. You understand? But then the little scams that they do, they'll say, well, there was a group of black thugs that committed this welfare scam and all of this stuff. And then the stigma of their crimes gets dumped over here while they maintain the sanitized ideal version of their culture. And what we're saying is, if you're going to hold your W's, good. I hope you do, but you're also going to hold your L's. You're not going to pass your L's off on the rest of us, and then you're going to keep your W's to yourself. No, at this point, everybody hold their L's and their W's, their wins and their losses, and then we'll just count the scoreboard. And they don't like that.
You know what, Afro? I bet you the Nigerians are happy because with the Somalians going through what they're going through, hardly anybody's talking about them. But they
Oh
still
no, they talking about the damn Nigerians. Nigerians getting dragged right now.
I thought they got a break.
Oh no.
Every so often, there's another ethnic group that will take the center stage.
Nigerians get dragged. Burn the boy, the quarters.
They'll re-strategize to find a way. They like being the top tethers. That's just,
yeah.
They'll re-strategize to find a way to do something. So Burna Boy will kick more people out of his concert or something like that. He'll I don't know what he's gonna do. If anybody's still going to it.
Them niggas ain't getting no
His concert was kind of empty, so I don't even know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm unsure of who goes next. I want to say Lottie, but then I see
I
motion.
think it was Corey, then me. It was Corey,
Corey.
then
I was
me.
gonna say
Thank
Corey
you.
too. I wasn't sure.
Thank you.
Okay, Corey.
Corey, may we have your ethnic group?
I'm Black American.
Thank you.
Why can't folks move on from Pan Africanism? I say, follow me on this. I say it's like this: like white people have country music us out of our own land. Follow me on this. What I'm saying, meaning that black people have created country music. The white people came in and infiltrated it, and because of who they are, we don't even want to associate with country music no more. Props to Beyonce for trying to run us back to that. But because of who they are, we don't even want to associate with that no more. And if any of our friends try to do country music, at least when I was growing up, we would make fun of them. Why you trying to do country music, bro? That's them folks' music. That's the Pan-Africanism. They are the ones who's making fun of us trying to reclaim what's ours. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they are like the white tea people have done a good job of making the black American people hate this land because of what they did. We can't hate this land for what they did. So the Pan-Africanists are the ones who are basically looking at us like, how y'all claiming America? And that's they land. But this is our stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they are trying to hold on to what the white tea people have done to us and trying to shame us for claiming what's ours. Like they done all of our genres, everything we do, they come in and then they take it over and then we move on from it. And if we go back to try to do it, even our peers make fun of us for trying to do it. That's the Pan-African. That's their little game they play on us to make us like, I don't know, like they just colonize what everything we do, and they're doing that to us on this land. And the Pan-Africanists are the ones that's kind of like shaming us for trying to claim what's ours. So it won't die because they are confused on why we're trying to claim America. This is our land. This is our lane. The same way they did to every genre of music that we done, everything that we done, that we moved on from, and that we try to do, go back and try to do, even our peers make fun of what we're trying to do. They're doing that to us on this land. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta be like a person can be spiritual and not go to church. A person can be for black people and not be Pan-Africanist. You know, so when I was growing up, I was born in '77, so around the '90s, homie, I saw all the medallions and early '90s, late '80s, early '90s. I saw all the medallions and all that stuff going up. I didn't like all the medallion stuff. I thought I thought it was corny, but I got it. I didn't think people. I thought people were trying to be like show Africa love because how the white tea people was having them portraying them on TV. They had them people looking bad on TV. So I thought we was up there trying to just show them support because how the white tea people had them looking on TV. I didn't think that we thought that we was really African. You know what I'm saying? We not African, my guy. We are not African. We're just showing y'all support. And the Africans took it to a whole other level. Once they got older and they got on the internet, they took it like we some stepchild to them. Bro, we were just showing y'all love. It wasn't no Pan-Africanism. It was, I don't know what it was, but it was just showing y'all love. As a black man growing up, I was just like, dude, that's dope. We showing them love as other black people. They got these white tea people got them looking bad over there, and we just showing y'all love. And for y'all to come over here and act like how y'all acting is kind of a slap in the face to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we acting the way we reacting, homie. Like y'all up here acting like y'all the ish when we was showing y'all love. We had our superstars who had a lot to lose up there showing y'all love. And y'all people who ain't got nothing to lose, who y'all can just reciprocate the love back to us, is up over here doing some trifling stuff. But I'm going off whatever. But the Pan-Africanism thing is just basically that's their identity, homie. It's like a person who go to church and you ask them, you going through something, you talk to them, and they tell you a Bible verse. And he's like, what that mean? And they answer the question with another Bible verse. Bro, what the hell are you talking about? They hold their whole identity on the church. That's how the Pan-Africanism thing is. They hold their whole identity on the church. You know what I'm saying? On what their ideal is. And this FBA thing is kind of ruining their identity. You know what I'm saying? So if these people was real Pan-Africanists, they would understand what we going through as black Americans. We are under attack. We are the strong. We are like that strong family member, homie. That we hold the family together. But when we go through something, nobody's there for us. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's there for us when we going through anything. And then when somebody come around see what we going through, we might tear up. But once we get done tearing up, we back on the war path. We are now showing each other love, and we are tearing up with each other, but we on a war path right now because we've been under attack. We've been holding it. We've been holding this down for years, and nobody's been there for us. And so now we are now embracing each other, and we all are tearing up, and we on the war path, and nobody don't like it. Not even the Pan-Africanists, because that Pan-Africanist thing is just an ideology that just made people feel special. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it won't die, because people trying to hold on to it to feel special. And that's all I gotta say about that, man. Thank you for having me up, Afro, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We did show a lot of love, and that love was not reciprocated, and that is the reality of it. And we are not gonna sit up there and cherry pick a few isolated. Okay, there's a background. We're not gonna cherry pick a few isolated anecdotal situations of some sincere people from Africa or the Caribbean. We're gonna look at our entire ethnic group's relationship with their ethnic group, and we're gonna be honest and impartial with it. Okay, we're not gonna view things, and this is why we are moving fast now. Is because we're not gonna view things with an idealistic lens. We're gonna view things with the lens of reality. Okay, and this is how we move forward. Okay, and we should be not idealistic, or I meant optimistic. Okay, we should be optimistic, but our optimism should be grounded in reality. And the thing is that their optimism is not grounded in reality. Their optimism and sense of insecurity has turned them into servants, really, of what they think Africa is or should be. That's what it is, and it's sad. Let's get to Lottie.
Wait, hold up, brother. You know my lab about to start in like 3 minutes. I gotta get
It was
involved.
actually
Yeah,
me.
let's wrap it up. Yeah, this.
I kind of figured, but I got to go.
All right.
Honestly, just because I'm trying to eat right quick before I get on live, so I ain't gonna have enough time.
That's what it is. You're trying to eat.
Hello, I smell that chicken. I can smell it. I need it.
I gotta go. I gotta go. Okay, yeah. She smelled a pizza in the oven. That's why she's trying to go. Talk about her live, but okay, all right.
I need that. We got a few minutes.
Get your
Final words. I love the different aspects that people brought up today. About why people are not moving on from Pan-Africanism. Okay, it's definitely very true. A lot of it has a lot of truth to it, from the elders holding on to it to some of the young folks to the non-FBAs leeching onto our community. It's a lot. The different layers of why, but ultimately, I do get it. I definitely empathize, and this is why it's not like a. I think that's why mostly why this conversation hasn't been really that hostile. Even with us starting off with the first call and things of that nature, but a lot of us have a lot of empathy for those of us who are Pan-Africanists. You know, we understand the roots of it. We understand the pro-blackness that is within it, you know, at least that it started from, for a lot of us, the intention for a lot of us that it has. So I get it. You know, it's not to say that we trying to off you or trying to say that you're, you know, mark you off as a raccoon or anything of that sort. But we just have to be honest about the conversation. What has it really been doing for us specifically, as foundational Black Americans? And that's my main priority. That's our main focus anyways, is how that affects us as foundational Black Americans. And honestly, it's not pulling us in the right direction, in the most constructive direction that we need in order to dismantle the system or to, you know, get from under this system. So, in order for us to empower ourselves, we have to focus on ourselves, and that goes for every group. Every group should be focusing on what's happening in their homeland, how they can dismantle the system within their homeland. All right, we have to use tactics of guerrilla WAR fair. Okay. So we have to be honest about that. We cannot just use this whole, we're all one African, we're all one Black little glob of people, and not act like our differences do not matter, and not act like that our history and our distinct homelands don't matter. So yeah, again, I respect it, I get it. Many of us did grow up with those ideologies, but we do have to be honest now, and we have to check those who are not being honest, because this really has not been a two-way street. Many of us Black Americans have been spearheading Pan-Africanism. If we just keep it in a being, and we know, and they know, the Pan-Africanists who are scared to detach from it, or delineate, they understand that Black Americans do hold a lot of influence. We hold the most influence. So they know that what happens when Black Americans get off the Pan-Africanist wave, what comes next. That there's going to be others that follow suit as well, but that's not a bad thing. So we cannot demonize that. Delineation is the answer. Reparations is the solution. Okay. And separation is always the answer as well. So yeah, shout out to the chat, shout out to the panel. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay up on the live. I'll be on live by the time y'all get up off here. So y'all come on over to my live after y'all get up off here. All right. I appreciate y'all though.
Thank you very much.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Peace.
Peace, Izzy.
All right. She got to go handle some business, and we respect that. So, Lottie was next.
No, it was actually on me though.
Oh, it was on you? Okay.
Yeah, it was actually on me. But yeah, why can't folks move on from Pan Africanism? At the end of the day, like I believe like we was the, like she was saying, like ZZ was just saying, we influenced that Pan-Africanist movement. And at the end of the day, it was a good ideology. If we could have got on one accord with everybody, but we knew we was the only ones thinking like that. Because even with my encounters with people from the continent throughout my life, they all, I was a super Pan-Africanist, and I still call myself a Pan-Africanist to an extent. That you are cool if I meet you and you on the same page, you understand what we doing as FBA people with delineation and fighting for reparations and basically putting our things in the forefront to help our people in America, then you're cool. But if you're not on that page, I can't be cool with you, But as far as that, like I said, even other people from the continent they told me Pan-Africanism was not good. Well, or they didn't believe in it. Like, and that's when I was stumping for Pan-Africanism. They told me that's a silly ideology. It'll never work. It's too many tribes. We too tribal. That one, we got 54 countries. That wouldn't work in our country. I mean, in our continent. And that's what they told me. And this was back in the day when we was before the FBA movement. When we was, a lot of people was Pan-Africanist. So with that being said, it's like, that's why people can't move on, because like I said, the ideology was good for what it was, but we didn't put in place, a lot of people didn't put in place that we should be working where we at, and other people, other Black cultures around the world should be working where they at. And when we all got tangibles and influence, we could come together and build together. That's what it was supposed to be about. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And now with the delineation movement, and I understand the delineation movement because we have to work for our people here. So, and like y'all said earlier, a lot of Pan-Africanists don't hold people, Black people from the continent, African people from the continent to the same extent. They allow them to get away with a lot of stuff, with saying a lot of stuff. Like even, I was on a panel the other day with some people that's mad at FBA, defending FBA, and they defending FBA. They saying we basically don't like Africans or whatever. But I'm telling them, no, that's not the case. And I'm telling them, that it's a lot of things that y'all let slide. As soon as I said that, two Africans got on the panel and basically disrespected Black Americans, and they Black Americans, disrespected them on their panel. And they didn't say nothing for the first one that did it, and they allowed it to go on. It took them about 15 minutes to check. Eventually, they end up dropping both of these African guys because they started disrespecting our lineage. So it was a case in point, proof in the pudding on that panel, So with that being said, that's why people want to hold on to it. And I understand because like I said, the ideology, it make you feel good and you hope it could work. But at the end of the day, we have to work on ourselves. And the only time it'll work if people believe in it. And I don't think we're gonna get black people, African people, whatever, globally to
You're starting to
believe.
muffle. You're starting to get muffled, brother.
Oh, okay, sorry. To believe in the ideology, I don't think we're gonna get everybody on that same page. Like I said, it's a good thing if we could, but I don't think we're gonna get everybody on that same page. So it might be, a farce. And one other thing I want to say is that, everybody, like right now I'm trying to figure out where we going because like I said, it's some extreme FBAs, it's some extreme African people, it's some extreme people that believe they're indigenous right now. So I just hear everybody arguing on the panels and I don't know what's going on at this point.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna land with that.
yeah. Unfortunately, this is how and this is common in movements. In movements, when the movements start to get to a place, there will always, and you can just, there will always be extremists that start popping up, and then they want to take everything to the 10th degree. Everything they're literally on 10, on 100% pedal to the metal with everything, even in cases that don't recall that, don't require that. All right, so unfortunately, we do have bad actors, and then some of them are plants. Real talk. Some of them are there deliberately planted to make the movement look extremist. And that's something that's happened with the civil rights movement, where in the Black Panther Party in specific, where they've done things deliberately with the intent on making the entire group and the entire movement and ideology look radical and extreme and unpatriotic. So unfortunately, that's kind of the phase that we're in right now. So we just got to make sure that we're on code and that we're doing the right thing, and making sure the purity of the message and the purity of the movement stays intact, and we don't get corrupted, but and we'll phase out of that. So that's it happens, but that's where we're at right now. Let's get to Lottie.
I appreciate the beautiful things that I'm hearing on this space and panel tonight. Pretty much, y'all have hit every nail on the head, man. Like they say, why can't folks move on from Pan Africanism? I don't see why you can't. I grew up in New York as a Pan Africanist majority of my life, and the thing that I always seem to find a little funny is we would uplift these people who they were almost like charity cases to us. And we would do everything in our power to kind of give them power because we always seem to have this mysterious, beautiful power in North America. We have this power to fight against adversaries that come for us in our culture. And I feel like we were the portal to give these people a voice in the first place. And like a lot of the brothers that they said earlier, everybody has said everything correctly about it. We already tried to back the Africa movement because technically Pan-African is supposed to be back to Africa. That failed during the Marcus Garvey movement. That failed. But we held on to it. We kept trying to reboot it. But me, I took it as schools of thought. I took it as melanated studies of different schools of thought. That's it. And to be honest with you, the few that doesn't seem to be able to graduate from Pan-Africanism, they seem to be the ones that's oppie and compromised. Because my thing is this, the only people who wasn't included in the Pan-Africanist movement was the American black people. We doing all this Wakanda worship as prideful Pan-Africanists, and we were always the ones empowering some of these people melanated from other countries, and they would turn back around after we gave you food and a place to speak your mind, and you tell us we don't have a culture. I grew up knowing that I had indigenous roots. I grew up knowing that there was victims of slavery in my family, and I knew there was the percentage of the African in my bloodline. So the kumbaya, let's all get along, let's band together. We saw the beauty of the civil rights movement. And then what they did was, during that time, in the early times when we did have riders from diaspora, they compromised that movement and they started selecting the Africoons and the more Oppie kind of Africans. So I feel that if you were a legitimate Pan-Africanist, what would be the problem with siding and putting your pride in FBA or Solon if that's what you are? We gave praise to every other African nation. Why we don't get the same love when we gave you the portal and voice? So I feel who can't move on from being a Pan-African, you're obviously a op. Plain and simple. Because all the behavior of the people who's hating on the FBA movement is very oppy, if you ask me. What could be so offensive to foundational Black American? We were only African Americans from 88. It was 1988. That's it. We were called Black before we was called African American. And every time from me growing up as a Pan-Africanist, I always was told, oh yeah, you're a different kind. You're not us. So when we do it back, we're the bad guys? After giving you, was it 1927 when the Back to Africa movement? And what year is it now?
Yeah,
And we've been doing all this stuff to support them?
let me
Come on, man.
let me help. Yeah,
I'm going to land there, Afro.
and see,
Thank
this
you
is
for
the
the
issue
time.
with having an ideology that you want to be practiced globally, that has changed and evolved and shifted and really doesn't have a specific definition. If you have 10 people, if you have a room full of 10 people and you ask each one of them individually what they believe Pan-African is, define Pan-Africanism, you're not going to get the same answer from all of them. All right? Not if you ask one and then the other one's copy. I'm talking about you separate them and then you ask, okay, what is Pan-Africanism to you? Is Pan-Africanism we belong in Africa and we all have to have this mass exodus of America and go back to Africa? Is that Pan-Africanism? Is Pan-Africanism that we were never from here and we really belong in Africa and we're like the lost tribe of Africa? Is that Pan-Africanism? Is Pan-Africanism that Africa is the motherland and needs to be worshipped? Or, like, you know what I'm saying? It's so much different stuff. And this is why it's become this corrosive thing where people have utilized and exploited it. All right? Because it shifted and it changed. One thing that should never have shifted, nor should have never changed, is being black first. If it was black first from day one, we would not have these problems. But it was this ideology. And then you have people with, I believe there was a lot of people with good intent who were a part of it, but there were also a lot of bad characters. There were also a lot of people who were involved in it with malicious intent. And the people who were involved in it with malicious intent, those people got compromised by the government, and those people got infiltrated by the CIA, and those people shifted the ideology and the movement and all of that stuff. Those people started exploiting and scamming and all of that. And that's where we are today. I don't want to be too long because we are wrapping things up shortly. So let's get to my brother delineationist. I appreciate your patience.
Oh man, this must be an early birthday present for the brother over here, December 6th. So I'm definitely going to cook on this topic. 39 in the building. All right, first things first. Why can't folks move on from Pan Africanism? I'm gonna look at it, and you guys heard it first. I'm gonna break some eggs on this one. It's melanated Stockholm syndrome. See, it's crazy when we can see the Stockholm syndrome when it's the white T-man, but we can't see the Stockholm syndrome with the people who shipped us off. Some of us are peoples off in them boats who practice slavery, who practice all types of things, no different from the white T-man. See, I don't discriminate. And if people were really on that Pan-Africanist tip, They'll know that you don't support any form of colonizer, slave master, or anything of the above. You care about the liberation of all melanated and black people. And that is a code of conduct that has been forgotten. That's the reason why we have broken away as a people, and delineation is always the ultimate key. I'll go into another aspect of it. The reason why it's a form of melanin Stockholm syndrome is supported by the government, is approved by the government, and it's a way of policing black American blackness. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to police our resources. It's designed to allocate our resources. It's designed to harm our people. And you said something that kind of caught my attention. Remember during C-19, during COVID-19, if you get what I mean, where the AAPI community was asking for loans and payouts because black people stopped messing with their businesses?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. They're gonna keep that same energy. They're gonna rock with that same playbook. We're gonna talk about this conversation for real. Because when we started talking about not messing with these African braiding shops and all these other things, rightfully so. Now watch them come up with the whole immigrant shuffle, saying, "Well, we need repair too. They're not messing with us." That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I've been looking and eyeing from with my Negro binoculars from afar, because I have a feeling that they're gonna try to run that exact same scammy oppie play. Don't think that people ain't cool with that, because they should have never gotten a dime. Both the yellow ones and the melanated ones. I don't discriminate. If you're against the lineage, you're against the lineage. So that's just some of the things that I want to point back to why folks can't move on from Pan-Africanism. It's melanated Stockholm syndrome. These people are mentally shackled to people who abandoned us. They're mentally shackled to a people who don't like us, who abuse us, and they're mentally shackled intellectually, spiritually, even psychologically, knowing our people never believed in the nonsense that they believed in. We got to just keep it real. So these are just some of the, even down to a spiritual sense, we don't believe in the same things that they believe in. So to push these things on us, it's crazy to me. It's weird to me. And we have to be very honest that we are just two different groups of people, and appreciate that we are who we are and walk in our trueness, and stop looking for a buddy down the road to our liberation. We don't need friends. We got the best friends we got. Our lineage and our brothers and our sisters. What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? So I just wanted to chime in on that and stay away from those melanated Stockholm syndrome people, because they sick. They mentally sick.
That's true. That's true. Appreciate that, brother. And happy early birthday to you.
Man, I'm about to hit that
Do
4-0,
this
man. I'm getting a little nervous now.
Right, all right. That's what I'm talking about. We got how do you pronounce your name? Abby? I'm pretty, because you're a male. I don't think it's Abby. How do you? Linux at the bottom. You Brandon. You got like 3 names up here.
Hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
All right, so my name is ABIY Links Bannon. It stands for Always Believe in Yourself. That's what ABIY stands for. Always believe in yourself. So honestly, like I feel like Africans, they didn't come over here hating us unless they was like incentivized. You know what I mean? I feel like when they come off the plane and they get in the customs, the white people tell them, look, we got these, African Americans, or we got these FBAs, whatever they want to call us. We got them in the country. And if you don't watch yourself, they'll steal, they'll rob, they'll kill, XYZ. But I feel like when Africans come off the plane, they're incentivized to not fuck with us. Because otherwise, like, why would they not? We're the only people in this country that looks like them. We're the only people in this country that, you feel me, they can connect to. They can't connect to the whites. They can't connect to the Mexicans. They can't connect to the Asians. So even though, like, you guys feel like Africans are against us. I feel like they are incentivized to be against us because they come here. You see, they're in higher positions than us. You see, they drive better cars than us. You know what I mean? You see, they have a better house than us. I don't feel like that's just, like, by coincidence. I feel like this is a planned operation because if you can have black people come over here, like let's just say Africans, Caribbeans, like every black person that's not a descendant of slaves in America is always held on a higher standard than us. Like you got the like I said, the Caribbeans and the Africans. Those are the main two though. Those are the main two black people that come over here. So basically it's like, if I'm a white person and I've been shitting on black people for 500, 400 years, what other way can I say that I'm not racist versus bringing somebody over here that's not a descendant of slaves and giving them, you feel me, the life or the American dream of a white person? So it's like how I feel, honestly, is that these people, I don't want to say these people because there are people at the end of the day. We all originated from Africa. We all came here and we all, got on ships. We might just be dropped off at different places and whatnot, XYZ. But at the end of the day, I feel like the average African is just not gonna come over here hating black people because at the end of the day, you gotta realize like these people don't have access to our social media, so they can't see the way we act as far as like how the white people portray. They can't see what we do. The only thing they can be told is you feel me like what the only thing that you feel me they can be like the only way they can be like not acknowledged, the only way they can be like informed, I would say informed is by, like by from the people that's, giving them whatever they want. If you stay away from these type of people, we'll give you this. If you do this, we'll give you this. XYZ. The only people who have the power, the resources, and the fucking jurisdiction to give these people a better living is the white people in this country. And I feel like they do that by means of telling us, hey, look, if you're African, if you're Caribbean, don't really fuck with the FBA. Don't really fuck with the FBA. And if you do, you know what I mean, we'll pretty much take everything from you. But for them to fuck with us would mean more black people. It would mean, you feel me, more representation. It would mean, you feel me, more dominance. So the only way they can benefit is to tell these extra black people that came over here is to not fuck with us. So honestly, that's how I feel. I feel like the fact that Africans like took that on and pretty much like is pretty much living that out and saying fuck black people, fuck FBA, fuck the descendants of slaves. I feel like they are wrong in that part. Yes, they are wrong for going against their own people. But at the end of the day, you got to realize these people come from fucking, you feel me? And I don't want to say this because I know Africa, has like decent places, but the majority of these people, they come from, you feel me, like mud huts. They underdeveloped countries, underdeveloped living. They don't really have access to shit that we have access to on a daily. So when they come over here and they're like, okay, we're gonna put you in a bigger house, we're gonna put you in a car, we're gonna make sure you got a good job. Well, they're like, shit, if you giving me all of this, then fuck black people. You feel me? Fuck black people. As long as you making sure I have a better way of living and a better life of living.
I'm gonna let you land because I wanna
Go ahead, gang. Go ahead.
what you said. Let me get on what you said now. You got a whole
Talk to me. Talk to me.
question, okay?
Talk to me.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Let's say that they do cherry pick people to come over here and they do indoctrinate and they have their processes of that or whatever the case. Should we accept that? I'm asking you this before I go to the next thing. Should we accept that and tolerate that?
No, and I don't feel like we don't.
Okay.
And that's why we have this panel right now, because I don't feel like we don't.
Yeah, and now here's the problem. Here's the problem. Is the fact that when it comes to their flaws, they're selling out for the same people who have colonized them. They know who colonized them.
Yes.
They're not confused. And when we give them the passes, this is what creates the condition that we are in today. The condition we're in today is because they are sitting up here or we have people in the states now who are trying to give them passes for their behavior, trying to rationalize their behavior, trying to give exceptions and for their behavior. Their behavior, we're trying to make it seem as if, well, you got to understand they're doing that because they come from a poor, distraught land, and this is the only way they can make something of themselves. So we're giving a rationale for them being a traitor to the group, for them being a traitor to the only people who have helped them. And the worst part about that is the fact that they've not gone through the indoctrination that we would like to believe that they've had to go through. The indoctrination is not entirely done by the dominant society. It's not done like that. That indoctrination, that hate and vitriol, that disdain for us as an ethnic group, that is homebred. That is something that they teach each other in their own schools, in their own households. That's something that they believe. They wouldn't come over here practicing it so strongly with so much potency for so many generations if they in themselves did not believe that. How we know they believe that is because when we have brothers and sisters who actually go and visit the continent, they practice the same amount of tribalism and disdain. So it's not, well, they are cherry picking and they make you hate us. This is the excuse that we have given the diaspora for generations, that when we get somebody who is a tether like a Myron Gaines or something, we find a way to almost give him not an exception, but a rationale for his behavior by saying, well, the white man made you that way. Truth be told, he didn't. And
No,
that's the
you're
reality
right.
that's the
He
reality
didn't.
that's the reality that we have to come through to come to. They didn't make them a tether. They just picked the tethers to come over here. But they had an easy picking. The tethers and the disdain and the sabotaging, that's homegrown. Tethers are homegrown. They're not made. Nobody puts them in this camp where they brainwash them to hate black Americans. They come like that by default. And they just make sure that they filter the tethers into the country. They have African words like there was a Haitian man who came up here and said we were calling y'all Yankee. That's not because the dominant society, that's not because the white people told them to call us that. That's because they called them. That's because they wanted to do that. Akata, that's because they wanted to call us the lost cat or the lost animal or whatever the case is. So this, we gotta tell the truth about it. That's because they are, I'm not assuming anything. I've had people come up here and tell me that. It's people in the chat room channel. That's not people, but that person. That's because they believe that themselves. They believe that themselves. And we do ourselves no favors by trying to give a rationale for their tethering or by trying to pass the blame off to somebody else. No, the tethers are selected. I can agree with you on that. They have a filtration system to make sure that they only allow the tethers to come over here. I can agree with you on that part. But the part that that is untrue is the fact that they make them that way. They're not making them that way.
No,
They're
I didn't say they make them that way. I feel like they incentivize them. You know, they tell them we're gonna give you a better living if you do X, Y, Z. And to people that's coming from nothing, that's a lot. But I'm gonna
yes,
let you talk.
and
Then go
there
ahead.
is
I don't want to
yes,
interrupt you.
and that part is true. They incentivize black Americans to sell out the group.
Exactly.
They incentivize everybody for doing so. But what we have to understand is that it's easy for them to take that incentive when you already dislike the group. When you come here by default disliking the group. That's the problem. Is that we got to understand, what do they believe? What is their core principles and what they believe? And when we try to act as if they're puppets being controlled on strings by a puppet master, we omit them from agency and we omit them from responsibility, and we speak and use narratives as if they don't have a choice to do this. And they do. And we know it's internalized and it's embedded in their culture because of the same cultural tribalistic practices that they have back on the continent. They have a every man for themselves mentality on the continent. They have a backstabbing culture on the continent. That's the culture that they're coming from and that they bring over here.
Afro.
Yeah.
Can you say we not have that here?
No, I would disagree with you. I don't think we do have that here. We
And
would not have been able to, hold on. We would
no, go
not
ahead.
have been able to make it to where we are today in 2025 if we did have that here. If
No,
we had
okay.
the amount
Go ahead.
of culturalistic, tribalistic beefs and have seen each other as different people, if we were able to do that, we've actually had agents put in our communities to
Yes.
create tribalistic or not tribalistic, to create tension and beef and separations. The government has to literally implant agents to separate us. They don't have to do that in the continent because they're already doing that.
So Afro, let me ask you this. When it comes to black people born in America that grow up and they want to be a rapper, right? They want to be a rapper. Who incentivizes them to, you feel me, talk shit, call their woman bitches, talk about drugs, talk about, you know what I mean? All this explicit stuff, you know, within their culture. Of course, we're not paying these people to do that, right? We're not paying these people to do that, right?
Okay.
The white people are doing it. So let's just say if white people can get black people in America to go against, you know what I mean, like the culture and to talk shit about us and to make it seem like we're all about, you know, drugs and just, you know, having sex with our women and not caring. What would make you think that they can't incentivize them people overseas who come from a worse, you feel me, a worse position in life to come over here and shit on us? I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like it's the same thing.
We didn't disagree on that point.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't disagree the fact that there is an incentive. Of course, the dominant society has incentives for their buffer classes. They've had incentives for the overseers. Okay, they've had incentives for snitches who snitched out the runaway slave. So they will always have incentives. But what we're arguing is that your original point was saying that they come over here and because of their incentives, that gives them the motivation and that's the reason for it. And that they wouldn't be like that if it wasn't for the incentives. And I'm saying, no, the incentives are a motivation, but they were already believing that before even the thought of integrating or immigrating into America. They were believing that well before then. So yes, there are incentives and we agree on that. But the incentives are not what makes them do it. You're using the word incentive as if that is indoctrination. And
No,
you're
no, no,
using
no.
that like that's the same thing. An incentive is not an indoctrination because right now today there's an incentive to go against black people. You see that
Yes.
on YouTube and all of that stuff. There's
It's a market for that. Yes.
yes, there's always been a market. There's always been an incentive. But what we're saying is that they're very susceptible to that incentive because they already believe that. So it's very easy for them to come over and to exploit and to join a buffer class that will subjugate a group of people if they already see themselves as other, if they already dislike that group of people. And what we should not be doing is we should not be using the word incentive as if incentive and indoctrination is the same thing.
No, no, no. I use incentive because it's a like a value. You know what I mean? Like a monetary value. Like they're getting something out of this for doing this. Like if somebody told you to work a construction job for free, you wouldn't do that, right? The incentive is the money. So when money is involved, yes, okay, this job seems you feel me, a lot more reasonable. It seems a lot more doable. It seems a lot more complacent because I'm getting something out of it. Now, if Africans came over here and shitted on black people and got nothing out of it, I don't see them doing it. I don't see them doing it. because we are the same representation of them. So if
Well,
we're getting shitting on, then
with that being said, though, with that
uh-huh.
being said, the only way that argument would make sense is that every time we see a tether, the tether must be being paid, and we don't see most of them don't get any type of money off of it. Only the ones who are like on government positions, elected positions, or the ones like Candace Owens or Myron Gaines who make a lot of money off of that.
Uh-huh.
Those are the only ones who get some type of monetary benefit off of that.
Exactly, Afro.
But they're not the majority. Okay, the majority are doing it really for the love of the game. The majority are doing it because that's what they believe culturally. The majority are not doing it because they're being told that they would get a bonus at their job for doing it. They're doing it because this is the indoctrination that they left their homeland with. You understand? You know what I'm saying? So
I'm trying to understand, but I'm trying to figure out how did they get that indoctrination?
they got that indoctrination through tribalism.
Tribalism?
This is why in tribes, when you have, for instance, you have civil wars going on all throughout Africa today in 2025 because two tribes can't get along. In the same
Hold on.
nation, two tribes can't get along. So
Afro.
this is a culture, and this has been the culture well before colonialism. This has been a culture well before slavery. This has been a culture for centuries and centuries and centuries. And they bring that same culture over here. They don't leave that mentality of I got to get this other group of people. They bring that over here.
Uh-huh. See, my
Can I
thing
say
is,
something?
yeah, you can say something. I don't want to cut you off, but I did want to say something, but I don't want to cut you off.
I'm sorry, Afro.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand like what he's saying, but the thing he's right. They are getting an incentive. They don't like us, is what I'm saying. I'm talking about on the African side of things. I mean, I'm not saying that all of them dislike us, but we're not. They don't view us as fellow black people the way we look at black people. So like if you look at us as a group, the things that we do for each other, it may not be daily, but when things go down and we know what the right choice is for our people, we stand together.
Yes, and I agree.
It's right. It's just a commonality among Black Americans, is what I'm saying. They in Africa and in other countries, they don't have that camaraderie according to race like we do here, and it's because we've always had to stick together here. That's not something that they do there. We knew that when we stood tall, some people might get uh KILL, but it was worth it because we were doing it for our people, and not just the people that's standing here with us, but our future generations. We think ahead like that. We're thinking about if they thought ahead like that, they wouldn't be running from their country to go somewhere else because they're not going to make things in their country better for their children. So they don't have the same morals and values that we do. So since they already don't have a connection with us, when they come here, most of them don't need to be paid. They just want to beat the American because they don't respect us for what we've done as Black people. Like they literally brag about the slave trade. Even in this country, YT people don't even brag about it the way they do. Like I've never heard a YT person say, "Oh, we only gave we paid for you with sugar," but I've heard that from them.
Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I have heard them say, "We sold you guys for sugar. We sold you guys for spoons." I've heard those comments
From Africans?
Yes.
You can go on YouTube.
I've never been to Africa, so I'm honestly asking this
No,
with
neither
genuine.
have
You feel me?
I. Neither have I. But when I heard that all of this was happening, I needed to understand why. Because,
And
I
I
kind of saw
agree.
them as fellow black
Okay, hold
people.
on.
And I
Let me
agree.
jump in. Let me jump in. This is
Go
how
ahead,
you know.
Afro.
This is how you know. It's a. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. This is a
You welcome.
homegrown issue. It's a cultural issue because if it was purely based off of the incentive, they would not treat each other like this back in Africa.
How
Yet,
do they treat each other in Africa?
huh?
And I'm asking because I don't know. I'm genuinely asking because I don't know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
In different tribes, they literally treat different tribes as if they're foreign enemies. Okay. They treat tribes where there was, when I was going to college, there was a Nigerian girl I was friends with, and she told me that her parents told her, she was Igbo. Her parents told her that they would not support a marriage, even if it was to another Nigerian, if that Nigerian was not a part of the same tribe. If she was to date somebody who was Yoruba, her parents would not pay for it because the parents pay for the wedding and all that. Her parents would not pay for the wedding. They would not support it. They would not show up. They literally treat them as, and they're both Nigerian, Igbo and Yoruba, both Nigerian. And they treat them like that. And I'm just bringing that up because I know that as a personal example. And this is something that is common. All right. And this is what you can literally see, if you go and look up documentaries and stuff, in Nigeria and other countries in Africa, you can literally see that. They have this tribe, very deep tribalistic mindset, and they've been carrying that for centuries. All right, I'm not saying anything that you cannot look up and verify yourself. I want you not to take my word for it just based off of face value. I want you to go look it up yourself and go see yourself. This is how they treat each other in the same nation. So when they come over here, it is very custom to go against another group of people because they see it as, well, you're not Nigerian. You're not a part of my tribe. So therefore I have no relation to you. So anything I do that subjugates you, anything I do that, any participation I have and your subjugation and your oppression, it will not weigh on my conscience because I already don't see you as my kin. All right. Not only that, on top of the jealousy that they have, I already dislike you. I'm coming over here disliking you. So so with that and the existing incentive that they have, it's very easy for them to be all like, okay, yeah, let me get Umbaku over here to come over here and be the next politician, the next governor. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. That's why.
And I just want to say, Afro, do we not see the same thing in America? Like from my perspective, and I'm gonna give you my history. I'm from Newark, New Jersey, right? Born in Jersey City, New Jersey, but you feel me? Lived in Newark, you feel me, for the remainder, and then after that, I moved down south to Raleigh, North Carolina. So basically, when I got me being from Jersey, when I got down here to Raleigh, North Carolina, I was told by other black people, you're not from here. You're not a native. We don't fuck with you. You're from up top. You're a northerner. And these are black people. These are people that have the same, you feel me, ancestors as slaves that I have. We probably brothers at the end of the day. No bullshit. We probably brothers at the end of the day, but I get this same sentiment. You're not from here. You're from Jersey. You from up north. You feel me? Like we don't fuck with you.
We have a
So,
thing. We have a thing in you're from Jersey, right? We have a thing in Chicago where
yeah,
there
I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey. Yes,
yeah,
facts.
where there is a kind of little playful rivalry we have with the South Side and the West Side, and this is how, I'm going to defeat that point. We have a little playful rivalry. Well, the South Side is the best side, the West Side is the best side, and we do that thing with South versus West type of stuff. But all of that is in sport. All of that is a cultural, playful thing. We
Is
don't
it?
actually
And
carry.
I'm and I'm
Hold
and
on,
I'm asking
no,
because
hold on. I gotta
go
no.
ahead, go ahead,
Hold
go ahead, go
on,
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I
hold
don't want to cut
on.
you off. Go
We
ahead, go ahead, go
don't
ahead.
actually. I'm getting to it. We don't actually carry real legitimate animosity towards other sides of the city or towards other states. You don't have your parents tell you, I will not support. My parents, my grandparents will have never told me, not a day in their life, that they wouldn't support my marriage if I married a woman from New York. They would never tell me that.
No, no, no,
They would
no.
never
I'm
tell me,
not
hold on,
saying.
hold
No, go
on.
ahead, Afro. I'm
They
not
would,
trying to cut you
now
off.
you
I
gotta
just want to put
stop.
my input in.
You
My
gotta
bad, my
stop.
bad. Go
Hold
ahead, go
on.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Because they would never tell me they wouldn't support a marriage of mine or a relationship if I was in a relationship with somebody from the west side of Chicago. They don't do that. Okay. We don't have that. If you're, as long as you're bringing somebody black home, they're happy. That person could have been from the south to the north to the east to the west. Okay. As long as you're bringing somebody home that they can be happy with, they're happy for you. Okay. That is not how they do in Africa. So no, the cultural tribalism is not the same at all. If anything, there might be, I don't know if you are affiliated or anything of the sort.
No,
There
no,
might,
no. Just being from up north, just being
okay,
a
there
northerner.
might be jokes. There might be jokes, and some people take their state or their city very differently. Okay. And I'm using this as a teaching moment because I think this is going to be really good for people to review this conversation. So I'm glad we're having this. All right. They're going to be jokingly about it, the same way Chicago jokes about the South Side and the West Side, the kind of little zone thing, that tribal zone thing. But at the end of the day, it's Chicago, and we all love each other. You know, in Nigeria or other places, and I'm bringing up Nigeria because I know for a fact in Nigeria they do not see it that way at all. They don't see it as one big country. They don't. So if they don't see it as one big country, they damn sure not gonna see it as one big family. They do not see each other like that. So we're trying to give an excuse or to make an equivalent. There is no equivalent. We don't do what they do.
We
That is the
don't.
reality. And if we keep trying to make it an equivalent to save face for them, we're never going to get anywhere. We can't save face by saying we do the same thing, because if we did the same thing, we would be in the same condition, and we're not. So we don't do the same thing.
I'm not trying to like disagree with you, but like, you know, me growing up in America, like I said, I was born in America. I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey. I lived in Newark. I moved down south. It was kind of like, you know, you're not from here, so don't come here. It was, and I'm not trying to.
When you moved to the South, how did they treat you where were you born and grew up? You born and grew up where?
I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey, right? I moved to
Where was your family from?
Jersey. All my family's from up top, with
All
the
your
exception
family
of
from
my
up top?
grandmother. She might have been like, my roots is probably down south because of slavery. But when I was born, I was in Jersey. My grandmother had moved up to New York by then. When she had my mother and my sister, they were still in New York. But by the time my mother had me, we was in Jersey.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right then. And then when you moved to the South,
Hey,
where
what
you move
part of
to?
New York you from? What
No,
part of
no,
New
I'm
York
not
you
from New
from?
York. I'm
He's
from
not from New
Jersey.
York.
My
He's
mother
not
from
from
New
New
York
York.
though. She from Marconi Place, Bed-Stuy.
Okay, hold
Okay,
on.
Bedford Stuyvesant. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask this now. When you moved to the South, what state did you move to?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina.
How did now you're not from North Carolina, right? And nor is
No,
your family, right?
no.
Now, when you went to North Carolina, how did they treat you?
They treated me like, well, shit. Like I said, you're not from here. You from up top. Y'all think y'all better than everybody. XYZ. Now, mind you, me coming down here, I didn't have that mindset. I didn't know what mindset, you feel me, they were.
So when
Bullshit.
you went
Bullshit.
you said
Mhm.
North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
They treated you like they didn't want you in North Carolina.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But when I got the proclaiming that I was from Jersey, that's when you feel me. Oh, okay, you not from here. You from up top.
That's a lie.
XYZ.
All the dudes in
Hold
North
on, hold
Carolina
on.
How was
Don't
that
do
a
that.
lie?
Don't
How
do
was that a
that.
lie? I'm in North Carolina
Okay,
right now.
keep
I done
going.
been to
Keep
all the
going. Keep
prison
going. They
systems.
treated you They treated you like what?
Nigga, they treated me like a northerner. What are you talking about?
Well,
They treated me
you
like I
are a
wasn't from
northerner.
here.
Yes,
Hold
you're
on,
a
hold on, hold
northerner
on.
though.
Hold on.
But I'm trying to talk about the
Go ahead,
experience.
Afro. Go ahead, Afro.
The experience. So they ostracized you. All right.
I
They
don't,
didn't.
I don't, I don't want to say they ostracized me. It was just the fact that Like you haven't been down here as long as we have. You feel me? So we don't look at you as one of us. That's pretty much what it is. Like we've been on these blocks since yay when. You just now moving down here, and even though you feel me, you look like us, you're not from where we're from. So it was a little issue. It wasn't a big issue, but it was definitely something I had to go through. You feel me? I had to, you feel me, fight hella people just because I wasn't from here. You feel me? I had to go through hella bullshit just because I wasn't
No.
from here. And a motherfucker can say I'm lying, but nigga, I'm speaking my truth.
And who treated? Were you in high school or something like that? Who treated you like that?
It didn't happen really. Honestly, it didn't really like high school. I had no problems. It didn't really happen till I got to prison. You feel me? That's when you feel me. Everybody that's from North Carolina is in the North Carolina system. So that's when they like, okay, all right, boom. Well, listen, Afro.
Okay.
It's like you got the
Brother,
people.
hold on.
Listen, Afro. I don't want to cut you off, but listen. You got the people in prison that's from Greensboro. All the Greensboro people click up. You got people that's from, you feel me, Asheville. All the Asheville people click up. You got people that's from Raleigh. All the Raleigh people click up. You got people that's from Durham. All the Durham people click up. So I'm from Jersey. You feel me? I don't fit into none of these groups. The only way I resemble this other person is because of my skin color. But outside of that, they don't give a fuck about me.
Yeah,
I'm from Jersey. I'm a foreigner to them.
With all due respect, though, you do understand now. Gonna say you did not mention prison until I got really specific about where this tribalism that you experienced happened. Prison politics, the politics in prison does not reflect the politics in the rest of the society. So when we say we don't practice tribalism, you kept saying, well, yes, we do. I've experienced it. And then you brought up prison. Well, that's a completely different situation. The environment and the politics that go on there are completely different. It's another world than what happens in the rest of society. So in the rest of society outside of the prison system, there is no tribalism. And that's why I asked you, I'm all like, that's very interesting that you bring that up. Who treated you like that? You have to understand in prison, they section each other off and they segregate based off the smallest little details, based off of a tattoo you might have or where you grew up. That's what they do in prison. That's not what we do culturally outside of that, though. So for you to make the equivalent of their tribalism, of a cultural tribalism that exists in Africa, to prison sanctions and gangs is very disingenuous. And you're only doing that so you can give Africa a way to save face.
Afro. Can you hear me, Afro?
I can hear you. I'm gonna let you get your last word, then we're gonna move on. You got a whole bunch of people coming up here. BX, you're gonna have to tell me how to do the 1 minute thing. So
I just want to say I've never been to Africa, but the only tribal experience I've had was what you said, like what I said, like the cities. You know what I mean? Durham, Raleigh, XYZ. That's the only tribal experience I've had. The only experience I've had of people staying together is from what city they were from, what state they were from. That's the only. I've never been to Africa, so I don't know about any tribal countries or tribal cities.
No, brother.
What did he say his ethnics was from?
When I expressed it to you, you said, "Don't you think we do the same thing here?" And the entire conversation, and the reason why I've spoken to you this long is because I'm glad that it is being recorded, so people can look back and they can have a learning lesson from this conversation. That's the only reason. Otherwise, because we've been going in this circle for a while. Because everything I say, this is what they do. This is something that happens in Africa. Because you can't refute that, you say, well, we do the equivalent. And I say, actually, we don't have the equivalent in America. And I brought up tribalism. And then you said, well, we have this the equivalent here. And you tried to give a personal story. And you omitted the fact that that personal story happened in the prison system, which you know for a fact, anybody who's gone to prison knows for a fact, prison politics and outside politics are not the same thing at all. So you can't conflate the two. and
but it's
you omitted that because
mhm.
you wanted an equivalent to the African tribalism to say we're the same. So that's why I made the argument that, or that's why I made the statement rather, that what you did was disingenuous.
Mhm. And
So
everything I could say, and on my behalf, everything I could say was genuine because I'm speaking from a place of experience. I'm speaking from a place of genuinity. You know what I mean? Even though that might not be a word, but I'm speaking from that place. You know what I mean? Like I've never had, like I said, I've never been to Africa. I really don't have too many white friends. I don't have nobody in a, you feel me, like high position. You know what I mean? To kind of make me seem like I'm not in the same group as you guys. You know what I mean? Like my mother been evicted. You feel me? Like I like, you know what
Oh
we
my
had to we
God.
had to, you know.
well, brother, thank you, brother, because
So
All
let
I
me
want to
make
say,
this
this is the last thing I'm
disclaimer.
gonna say, Afro. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, Afro, because I don't want to, you feel me, take up other people's time. Only the last thing I'm gonna say is my experience here in America has been no different from the average black person experience.
I think it has been. Yeah, yeah,
No, it
actually,
hasn't.
very much so has been. How can you say that?
How has it not? You feel me?
Are you
I'm discriminated
Caribbean,
against.
sir?
I'm
Wait, hold
discriminated
on, hold
against
on,
because
I
of my
don't mean
skin
this.
color.
I don't mean this to be disrespectful,
hold
but the
on.
average Black American has not been to prison. So
Or been
the fact,
evicted.
like,
Damn.
what? Okay,
Afro, can you ask him if he Caribbean?
No, I was born in America. Like my mother
No,
is a
you
descendant of
were
slaves. Her
born.
grand her mother is my grandmother is a descendant of
Slaves
slaves. Like,
where? Slaves where? Because the Caribbean has slavery too.
hold on, say you said what? I don't want to cut you off. You said what?
Caribbean has
No.
slavery
What
too.
did you ask me though?
Are you Caribbean, sir? Your
No.
grandparents?
What do you mean? I was born in America.
Everybody born in America origin is not from America, right? So there are people with two Caribbean parents born in America. Are you
Okay,
Caribbean?
my
Can you
parents have
tell
never
me?
been outside the country. Their parents have never been outside the country, and their parents were slaves. So what more do you want me
Okay,
to say?
okay. So hold on. Because you saying a lot of funny stuff, right? Where your people from?
What do you mean? My
In the
grandmother's
South.
from the
In the
South.
South.
My
Where?
grandmother's from the South,
Where?
Charleston, North Carolina. If you don't know, that's
And
where a
you
lot of
went
slaves
down
were.
there and they was treating you like that? So I think you sound a little bit
Hold on, say that
institutionalized.
again. I didn't hear you.
You
Say that again.
cannot compare what happens behind the walls to what happens in real life.
No,
There are
I'm not.
people who will come and be like, I'm from North Carolina. That's our migration path. I got cousins in, well, I'm going to say New York, right? So,
Hmm.
New York and New Jersey, our migration path is primarily the Carolinas. So, I'm just finding it a lot of weird the way that you're talking. Then
So,
again,
what do you want me to
and then
clear up? I'll
again, so
ask
what
that.
do
What do
I
you want
know?
me to clear up?
Um, this whole thing, they was against me and this and that, and they treated me
Yes,
like this, but I'm black
but
like them.
this is my experience. This is my experience with other
but
black
we're gonna
people
move on.
in a city in a city that I'm not from.
No,
And go
we're
ahead.
gonna move on because it doesn't matter even if you were from that city. Because if you were even from that city, if you were from a different part of town, they still would have treated you differently. They
Nah,
do that. If they
I don't
do
think
that,
so though.
they stop it, sir.
Yeah, no,
Because they
no. You right.
they
You right.
they
You right.
do that in
You
prison.
right.
But you try to make it seem as if we have this statewide tribalism issue. And what you really experienced is a prison issue. It's not a state tribalism issue. But you try to make it seem and you posed it as a statewide tribalism issue instead of a prison issue because you're trying to say that we are just as tribal as the diaspora and we're not.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we
We're
share
gonna
similarities.
no. You said we do the same thing here. That's what you said. Verbatim.
Yes. Do we not? And
No, we
I'm
do
not trying to
not.
take up no more
No,
time.
we
I'm not
do
trying to take
not
up no more
because we're
time.
not prisoners and we don't operate that way.
Afro, can you hear me, Afro? All
I can hear you.
right. So basically, if you was to move to somewhere else, would they not treat you like you're from somewhere else? Like I don't know where you live. You feel me? So that's what I'm saying. Somewhere else. If you was to move somewhere else
Treating
and
somebody
let
like they're from somewhere else in
no,
tribalism is not the same thing.
but
Okay, we're not saying
it
we're
has similarities though. It has
no, it's
similarities
not.
because
No, it's
Okay, but
not.
not
No, it's not.
tribally.
And the thing is that with this, and I want you guys to understand, he's saying this so long. Now you said you've never even been to Africa,
no, I
yet,
haven't.
yet you're on the front lines, almost arguing on their behalf like a defense attorney. That's the problem.
No, I'm not arguing on their behalf. I'm
Oh,
just
you are.
saying
Yes,
like
you are. And I'm saying,
how
brother, to
how
be
how
very respectful to
how
you.
can you
Because the
say
thing is that now
like
you're being disingenuous because you were caught.
caught in
Because
what?
you were caught up. Because you're trying
Caught
to
up in
make a
what?
you if you don't stop,
I'm asking.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
hold
saying
on
asking.
for a minute.
you were caught up.
Mute up. I don't link. Mute
Okay.
up. So here's my issue, right? Everybody who's been behind the walls, and I've heard this story, even whole
Uh-huh.
documentaries on it. Behind the walls, it's not city or state; it's race.
No,
So
no.
an
Have you ever been
ethnic
to the
group.
feds?
An ethnic group, right? I don't plan on going to the Fed, sir. Not me. But it's ethnic group. So you'll find the Aryan nation, the Latinos may align with them, but they ain't going to align with a black person. And black person to stick together. Even the troll who trolls Tyreek talks about how he was with the not the white team, with the black people. And they had a hand in whatever a GANG that formed it behind the wall. So behind the wall is usually racial and not regional. So I'm having a hard time with Mr. Links. If we could wrap it up, because I'm tired back here. I'm tired. Auntie's been up all night, y'all. I'm on the rest.
What's
Thank
go
you.
you
Afro, can you hear me? I just want to say one thing, and I'm gonna let everybody else have they, you feel me, peace. I just want to say one thing, and I want to say this to Miss LAQT. I don't really see the name, but I just see LAQT. When you in federal prison, it's different. It's not race. It's city. It's city and it's gangs. It's whatever city you're from and whatever gang you're from is what cart you're going to fit in. And I don't want to keep bringing prison up as an analogy because even outside of prison, I've had this same issue. And I'm not
I've
trying to.
never been to prison,
Okay, so
but
you
if
can't
you want
speak
to
from
see, no,
my
no, 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 wait, let me
experience.
finish. Let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
I've never
okay,
been to prison, so I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't
What
know.
we're gonna
But
do,
you
hold
didn't
on,
started
everybody
off
stop.
saying that.
Everybody
Oh, I'm
stop.
sorry.
Okay. Because what we're going to do is that the reason why
Afro.
stop it.
No. I just want to say one
No,
thing.
no,
I just
no,
want to say
no,
one
no,
thing.
no, no,
No,
I
you've
just
no,
been
want.
no, no, no,
saying one
no,
thing for
no,
the
no.
past 5 minutes.
Stop. Everybody cut it out. What we're
Yeah,
going to
okay.
do is where I'm going to that I was figuring it out. I'm gonna give a timer. I'm gonna give everybody 1 minute. I'm gonna bring a whole bunch of people up here, and I'm gonna give everybody 1 minute. And I hope you guys learned a lot from this conversation. All right, because I could tell at the very beginning you were not coming in the situation from a genuine point of view. Because for somebody who you claim you haven't been to Africa, for someone who claims that you don't really know that much about Africa, what you've been doing is you've been doing a lot of defending, a lot of justifying, and a lot of excuse making for them. And it's coming off as if there's an ulterior motive. And the longer we played it out, sometimes you just gotta let people talk. The longer we
And I
played
agree.
it out, the more the lies start to unravel. Okay, so
Afro.
now that we can conclude that there is an ulterior motive because what you're doing is you're telling truth, you're telling stories, and you're omitting major factors in this. All
What am
right,
I omitting?
to catch you, you omitted the fact that your experience happened in prison and it did not happen in the neighborhood. You did not go to the grocery store and they said, "Get out, you're from New Jersey." That's
Because
not
they would never know that.
that's
They would never know that.
and if
If
they
I was just
did,
a
and
regular
if
person
they
in the
did,
grocery store, they
and
would
if
never
they
know that I'm
did,
from up
if they
top.
first off they kind of would because New Jersey has a different accent from North
But if I'm
Carolina.
not, if I'm,
But
if
if
hold
they
on, Afro,
did,
I just want to say this. I just want to say this,
no,
Afro. If
you
I'm in
did
the
not say
grocery,
anything else. No, stop that. Stop that shit. Because if they did, they still wouldn't have mistreated you. All right?
no, you're misunderstanding me.
No, I'm not misunderstanding you. I'm not. I've listened to you enough. Okay? And this is how you handle it. Sometimes you gotta let them talk, and then their motives will come out. Okay? You got to catch them in their lies and inconsistencies. All right? That's what you got to do. So you were disingenuous and you were caught, and now you're trying to backpedal.
I'm caught.
You were caught. Yes, you were
On
caught.
what? On what exactly? That the fact that I omitted the prison part. I didn't say, you feel me? I didn't say they treated me bad when I was in the streets. I never said that. I never said that. Right? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Sir, sir, listen to me.
I'm listening.
You have a good night. Leave before you're removed.
So you gonna
Afro, he
remove?
dissed.
You gonna remove an
He did
FBA
this.
because of
Stuff
my
they happen
opinion?
outside.
Hold on.
You
You
did
gonna
say
remove
that,
an
bro. You said it
FBA because
happened
of
to
my
you
I've had
opinion?
outside.
extensive. Hold on, Retro. I've had an extensive back and
Yes,
forth
sir.
with you for the longest time.
Is
Okay?
that
And we went back and forth. And now at this point in time, you're being disingenuous, you're being dishonest because you're trying to argue a point, but you're not being forthcoming, which means that you are deliberately trying to hide this to create a false narrative. And
But you think
what
I'm
I knew
protecting
was I knew
Africans?
first off,
You think I'm
I've done
protecting
this.
Africans and I'm
Dude,
not.
stop
I'm
talking.
just giving you
Stop
my
talking.
point of view.
Stop talking. All right. I've done this for a very long time. I knew you were doing this from the very beginning.
Okay.
I knew you were
Okay. If
doing
you
it
say
from the
so.
beginning,
If
and
you say so.
I wanted to give the audience an opportunity to watch this unfold in real time. And it's done. So our conversation here is over. I'm not gonna block you, but we are gonna move on. And you keep saying, I just got one more thing, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. Your one more thing has been up. Okay? It's over with. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, I found out how to do the timer thing. So we're going to go through the list and we're going to give everybody because there's a lot of people still requesting. So we're going to give everybody like a 1 minute timer so we can allow everybody to get a chance to go ahead.
Okay, well, let me step down. I'm gonna step down so everybody can have their chance. Okay, I'm gonna still be in alive because I respect what you said, Afro. But at the end of the day, my position is still valid. But I'm gonna go ahead and step
No,
down.
it's
Okay,
not, dude. Okay, but all right.
it is. It is. You're trying to invalid another black person experience. But I'm gonna go ahead and step down right now.
All
I don't
right,
want to
bro.
keep cutting you
Go,
off.
man. You go
I
down
don't
to the
want to keep cutting
chat.
you off.
Say it. All right, come on now. You're just already lying. I heard you when you said that it happened to you outside.
Yeah, do you see that? Okay. All you got to do is ask for details and specificity. They're not specific about it because, I did this because this is going to be the narrative. They're going to say, well, we can't get mad at Africans because we do the same thing here. We can't get mad at Africans because we do the same thing here. And the longer you let that person talk, the more inconsistencies start popping up. I wanted you guys to clock the inconsistencies in real time. And when those inconsistencies start popping up, don't ignore it. Catch that right then and there. And then next thing you know, he's not patient. He's off the mic every other time. He's not letting you get a word out. He's starting to troll. And by trolling, that is him conceding that he's lost the point. That's what that is. Now, I wish it didn't take that long, but it did. But that's what that was. It could be the fact that he got a Nigerian baby mama or something like that. I don't know what it is. Or it could be the fact that he's not really FBA. Could be a lot of stuff. He might just be a troll or whatever the case is, but he lost. He lost because I was able to catch that. And you see with the whole prison thing, and I want you guys to understand this from going forward. And I like to use these TikToks as a learning thing. When I caught the inconsistency or the dishonesty about the prison thing, I didn't let it go. I kept going back to that. I kept going back to him lying by omission. I kept circling back to that. I did not let him go any further past that. I held him to that point that he deliberately omitted that point. So when you catch somebody who is lying or who omits something to try to push this narrative, when you catch that, hold them to that. Don't let them walk past that, because he would have never brought it back up. I had to keep bringing it back up. So that's what you do when you catch them. All right. So we'll get to retro. Hold on. Let me see. Let me do the timer thing. Let me do it. Hold on. Let me see. Countdown for all. We'll do a minute. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. I thought I had. Let me see something. Okay. Hold on. Why is it not? BX, how you do this?
It looks like you almost put it on Showtime or something.
Yeah, I tried to do the countdown thing. It's a countdown. Hold on. I thought I had it. I thought I was about to do something cool.
Click in. Click in. Okay. Countdown. And let me see.
I
All
feel
right.
like an old man now. Hold on.
Okay. I ain't never learned how to do it. Go ahead.
You found it? You found out how to do it?
Yeah, his time is running out. Go ahead, Retro.
Yeah, nah, real quick. Yeah, I caught that dude in the live because he said, you know, that because he told BX, he's like, yeah, that happened outside of prison. Then he gonna say, I never said it happened outside. I never said it happened outside. I said, dude, you just was lying. But see, this just goes to show this whole Pan African pipe dream is finished. Think about this, y'all. There are 54 countries over there in the continent, and none of them are first world countries. Think about that. So if Pan-Africanism was really effective, a lot of those countries are beyond third world. They're like fourth world. None of them are first world countries over there. 54 states. Pan-Africanism doesn't work because it don't even work over there on the continent. And you could drop me down after this. I just wanted to come up and say that, Afro. That was it.
BX, how'd you do that?
I just clicked on the box and then it looks like a little clock icon. I clicked that and put it for 1 minute and I left it on expand. Um, yeah, but I don't know how to do Showtime. I just know how to put the timer on. Yeah,
Okay, you
like
got it.
that.
Okay, I'm be quick because this man lied about a lot of stuff. As somebody who was born and raised in Chicago and I got family down south, we ain't never been referred to as Northerners. My mama family from Texas, my daddy from family from Mississippi, and I've been to both states and visited multiple times as a child and as an adult. And they ain't never saw me differently. They ain't never seen none of my siblings differently. So this man lied this entire time. The way he kept saying he didn't know where his family was from, that's what he said at first. He said he don't know, he might have some family in the South. Then he gonna say when everybody was on his back, North Carolina. My people is from Texas and Mississippi. I've never been ostracized by none of these people in my family, and I've never othered them. So this man is such a liar. Like I caught it so many times, and we heard his accent too. This man is either a Caribbean or he a African, saying that we look like them, we come from them, and everybody come from Africa. No, we don't. We ain't never been taught that. This man is a liar.
I believe that as well too. But the thing is that I wasn't gonna harp on that point because I knew I could defeat his argument. I didn't even need to pull that up, even though I believed it from jump. I'm like, yeah, but I'm a just play along and defeat your argument off rip anyway, just to show people how to do it. But I don't believe he's FBA because he said he didn't know where his people were from originally.
Exactly. That's when I caught it. He told us he didn't know where they was from until Auntie BX started harping on talking about where you really from. He talked about North Carolina. If you ever heard of it, you would know that off rip.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, but we gotta let. There's a lot of people in here, but it's all right. It's all right.
Exactly where your people from.
Yep, it's all right. It's all right. We're gonna get everybody. Make sure we get everybody. All right, let's get to chairman. Hold on, let me. Yes, my thing ain't still tripping. What's going on? Okay, hold on. Why is my thing tripping like this? Okay. I can't hit chairman. Oh, there we go. All right, you got it.
All right, I ain't gonna talk about dude because he's a weirdo. I clicked on his page. That's a weird guy. But I just want to say a con is being ran on Black Americans. The job of the Pan Africans is to keep our mind on focused on Africa while our land gets raped. Because America is the monopoly board of the world right now because we got the world reserve currency. So as long as our mind is over in Africa, they can keep running scams on us. And I knew this was true when I saw first Renoka Rashidi said that he was Cherokee from North Carolina. Then I heard James Small say the same thing. He said he was Cherokee from the mountains of North Carolina. When I heard that, I said, oh yeah, these dudes part of the scam. So I just want to say that real quick, it's a scam being ran and they are helping maintain a scam. So watch them niggas.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, let's get to. I'm just gonna kind of randomly pull people up at this point. Make sure we get to everybody. Give people 1 minute. Let's get to Fly. Fly, you got it. You got it.
You know, I really appreciate you and BX Afro. I thank you all for coming together, letting us know where we stand in this world and who we are as a group of people. That was a clown, a big clown with the biggest red nose I ever seen in my life. Thank you for pointing him out. All us was aware of his nonsense and his lies. He's not FBA. I don't care if he pretend he is. Pan-African is dead. Our ancestors have dealt with Pan-African for years. Our grandparents, everybody. And guess what? We have never got nothing out of it. We don't want nothing out of it now. We got to work on ourselves as Black Americans in the United States. We have no other people to worry about. And thank you all so much for bringing all us together, and we gonna do this together.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. We gotta cycle some people out. Make sure we get everybody in. Give everybody their last word.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Angie, you okay? Hold on. What's going on?
Is it me?
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Are you okay?
I apologize. I'm trying to fix some fish. I'm sorry, but what I
You're
wanted to
still
say,
alive. It sounds like the fish was jumping out the sink. What's going on?
I'm so sorry. I apologize. I didn't even know you brought me up, but I love you guys. BX, Afro, ZZ, you guys are the best. I absolutely adore you guys. I'm a little older than you guys, but I absolutely love you guys. And keep on doing the good work you're doing. You're getting the word out in our communities, and all those tethers have got to go. We have to buy some spray to get rid of them because for some reason they latched on to us and can't let us go. For some reason, I don't know why we can't get rid of them. And I'm 56 years old. My mother and father have never told me we were from someplace else. Maybe we were from Africa a long, long time ago. My mother was born in 1927. My grandmother was born in 1904. And my great grandmother, Lucy, I knew her. She was born in the 1800s. There is no way we're them people, because if we're successful, how come they can't duplicate what we do here? And I'll land my plane. Thank you guys. I love you guys, and keep up the good work. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't know why my thing's kind of acting funny, acting a little drinky. We'll get
Thank you
to
to everybody who said they love BX too. I appreciate y'all. That's so nice. Because everybody else be like, you're mean, bitch, you're mean, you're so mean. They usually tell us. But I'm gonna point this out. Everybody who visits the rooms that I'm in will hear me say that New York tethers, you could tell them because they do the most. They just over exaggerate everything like he did, right? And I'm starting to realize that New Jersey has a tether problem too, and they're starting to act like New York. But New York and New Jersey have a little bit of a rivalry, although we're like closely related. New York could be like, y'all Jersey niggas trying to act like us, y'all little New York, stuff like that. But they overemphasize, tethers tend to overemphasize what Black Americans will do naturally from the North. So if anybody comes up here and start acting like him, remember African T from Nigeria? He sounded just like us until you go to his profile and you saw a whole African. And he swears that I'm from Jersey, and I would have to tell him, we have Jersey FBA. We don't need you, homie. Like, you don't have to speak for Jersey. So they really do that stuff there that he was doing, and that was sending my tether radar off that he was doing the most. They overemphasize Black Americans out there.
Yep. Oh, that's very true. Okay, we'll get to Be Righteous. You got it.
Yeah, now I very rarely come up, but I pay attention to you, brother. You're doing a great job. But nah, he was talking about on lockdown, right? I served 12 years, 8 months, 18 days in federal penitentiary, and even there, man, we don't separate like that. We come. You're a good brother, man. We come together and do what we do, and if you want to be a clown, you're gonna be amongst the clowns. So even within that institution, he was lying about that, but I know he was just lying from when I first tuned in, I heard him like, man, this dude lying. I'm from DC. I'm like, dude was lying. And I knew you caught him, but you was being real generous and allow him to speak, which I caught what you was doing. So that was a good thing that you was able to allow him to go ahead and just keep running his mouth and reveal himself. But yeah, but you're doing a great job, brother. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Not a problem.
Yeah. All right, let's get to. Gotta use my Now we're gonna get to FBA Brooklyn. You can go ahead, talk to us.
Oh, about time, baby. Yes. I've been waiting, okay? Listen, first off, that dude's capping. He's a whole PR, Puerto Rican. I know. I was born and raised in New York City. My family came from Louisiana. All right. There's no mistaking. I had to be up here north. Like, right? We have to adopt to all this shit. I know the difference between the axes. I know the difference between everything. Okay. He was just sitting here trying to troll. Okay. I kept telling people in the comment section, no, he's not Jamaican. He don't sound anything like Jamaican. This nigga want to sit there and see what's up. What they do and PR, they will sit there and be like, oh, well, we're part of the United States. Or because you're not even part of the States. You understand? They're not. They would act like that and pretend like that. And he troll us. They do that all the time. Just like they cosplay with any culture that we have. We can't have nothing to ourselves. We can't have hip hop. We can't have graffiti. We can't have breakdancing. None of that shit. That's what pissed me off. And I've been waiting for a while. I'm like, wait a minute. This nigga is capping, y'all.
Now,
Big time.
another thing I hope
Yeah.
you guys noticed is that he kept bringing up where his mother was from, and he was not saying, he was like, both my parents are from New Jersey, and my grandmother on my mother's side is from the South. And I'm all like, okay, well, still, you got other family outside of your grandmother on your mother's side, so where's everybody else from? And he admitted that as well too. So I'm all like, okay, all right, might be a
It's
little,
certain parts. I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
might be
Go
something
ahead.
going on there. You gotta listen not just to what they say, but what they don't say.
Exactly. It's certain things that's like you don't get confused. It's either you know or you don't. First off, another thing that was I heard his accent. Let me tell y'all something. Jersey City is tethered with nothing but Puerto Ricans. I should know. That's my ex. All right? Not him personally. But they have, it's flustered with, what? Don't tell me about a PR. I know, yo. Listen, I was born in Bushwick, okay?
All right,
Anyone that knows Bushwick,
real quick so I can get to.
go ahead. I'm just simply saying this. He was sitting there trying to troll your asses, try to play y'all. And I had like a few people was like, oh, he's Jamaican. This is playing tether guessing games. I'm here to tell you, no. That was a whole Puerto Rock. We call it Puerto Rock in New York City, okay? We call it PR or Puerto Rock, right? That's code. Anyone that knows, knows. That's all I'm going to say. And he full of shit, and that's that. All right?
All right. Okay. All
All
right.
right.
All right. Let's get to Cookie FBA.
Okay, so I really wanted to tell y'all how my brother, Pan Africanism is non existence in Africa. My brother has gone to Africa 3 different times. He went to South Africa, and the guy charged him 1,000 USA dollars to take him around, basically like a tour guide. Somebody on the street charged him $1,000. He just went to Egypt this week, and they charged him 650 US dollars, which $1 US dollars is $47 in Egypt, which is $28,757. That's how much money they made off of him to take him to 2 excursions. One was the camels, to ride the camels, and the other one was right beside it to see like the pyramids and stuff like that. They are making bank off of us.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us know that. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of price gouging that they do specifically and exclusively with us. And they be rolling out the red carpet. So don't tell me about, well, they only do it because they're incentivized. No, they do it back home. That's the problem.
And they will not take their dollars. They will take our US dollars.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Let's get to, let me see. How do you pronounce your name? Asela? Aseli? Aseli? You can go ahead. Okay, Aseli is not available, so that's cool. We'll get to Heavy. Heavy, you can go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Love y'all live. Love y'all love everything about what you guys are saying. I just wanted to come up and say because this guy was really irritating me. Um, One, and I hope nobody ever goes to prison or be a part of the prison complex or anything like that. But I've been going there since I was a child, and it only goes off race. Race is the biggest. Race is the biggest factor in prison. We don't care what block you from. We don't care if you GD, BD. I'm from Chicago. I'm a black disciple. And that has no standing on the grounds of prison laws. It's about what you look like, what color you are, who are you? You a black person, you with us. That's how it goes. I don't know what feds he went to or whatever he went to. Also, I don't know if he realized that he kept separating himself from us. He was saying, well, they treated me like this. Well, this is how they treated me. Who is they? They can only be us. So that means you're not one of us. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, there we go. Yeah, it was when I first started letting him go. He went on a little monologue. I was all like, "Oh, we got ourselves one." I already knew then, but I said, "You know what? We gonna do this. We gonna do this because we can. We smart enough to do it. So we gonna do this."
It kept separating itself. Kept separating itself.
Let me see. How do you pronounce your name? It says Erie. Let me see. Erie Real or
It's Ariel.
Ariel. Okay.
Hey, what's up, fam? Yeah, the problem I had with him and how he really found himself out, he was like, yeah, I'm just like you. My mother got evicted. Like, what? So to be black American, you got to be evicted? Sorry, sir. I don't know anyone that got evicted, and that's not a black American thing. And I've never been in the prison system, but I watch a lot of documentaries, and I do have family members that are here up north that work in correction system. They all told me it's race. Within the blacks, it's like the Muslims, and then there's the Bloods and the Crips, but it's all race. It's not about up north or anything. And I know he was fake. I smelt tether all over him because as New York kids or even East Coast kids, whatever, we all went to hang out with our grandparents in the South. That's what we did. You know, when we had school off, we all hung out with each other and vice versa. So there wasn't no beef. So he's full of it. That's all. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, yeah, we caught it. We caught it. He wasn't smart enough to get that one through. Let's get to Corey. Corey, you got it. Corey, hold on. What the hell? Come on now. Things kind of tweaking a little bit. Corey, are you with us? I know it's kind of
Can you hear
tricky.
me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I just got a question for the Pan Africanists, man. If y'all are real Pan Africanists, what is the problem with Black Americans saying we are Black Americans? Like a Nigerian can probably say he Nigerian. If a Ghanaian walk over to a Nigerian and say, "Hey, you Ghanaian," he can probably say, "I'm Nigerian" with no problem. And Congolesian or whatever can probably say he's Congolesian. But if somebody walk up to that group of people and say those people in America are calling themselves African, y'all will smile with all y'all teeth and say it's okay. I don't understand that. I don't understand if people is really Pan Africanism. Why aren't y'all understanding the plight of the Black American? We are up here telling y'all we are going through an ethnocide. We are up here telling y'all we are going through an ethnocide. And y'all are ignoring it while screaming Pan Africanism. I'm confused about that. So I wish somebody can explain to me if y'all up for black upliftment or whatever, black entitlement or whatever, the Black American church, Africans should be the main ones on the front line saying, pushing for delineation. Why would y'all want another group of people claiming y'all? Y'all should want the Black American to claim who they are if we are really Pan-Africanism. If y'all really claiming that. That's why I don't really that Pan-Africanism is a bunch of BS. It seems like it's very controlling. Cause the Black Americans over here screaming, "Yo, man, we under an ethnocide. Y'all are coming over here, and we are part of the diaspora, but y'all are trying to wipe us out. And the Pan-Africanisms, whatever, ain't over here speaking up for us. So how can we up here support Pan-Africanism if nobody up here speaking for us? I don't understand the ideology behind it. It seems like y'all okay with the Black American being wiped out. How can y'all accept us being wiped out as melanated people and still scream Pan Africanism? Afro, help me elaborate on that, bro. Thank you, man.
They don't truly believe in that. They believe in the exploitation, and they want us to keep on with this indoctrination because they can exploit it. It's not a principle that they really believe in, because principles you believe in whether it's convenient or inconvenient. The fact that they don't believe it when it's not in their convenience shows that they don't truly believe it. That's the reason. That's the reason. Thank you, thank you. My phone is kind of tweaking. That's probably because I've been on the live too damn long. But I wanted to give y'all a good one because I ain't been on in a few days, so I felt like I owed y'all a little bit. Let's see. LAQ, are
At
you?
one time, I couldn't get Afro Lee over here. Yeah, I don't know BS. I don't know. I said, but you got a base over here, Afro. Now he hosts live, especially for us. We doing a good job, guys. Good, Afro. You too, Afro. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get to LAQ. You can go ahead. You got it.
Hello, can you hear me? Because I had to change my earpiece, and
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
these
I hear
these
you.
aren't as good. Okay, so that guy, either he was, definitely not FBA, or he had some type of significant other that may have not been FBA, because I've noticed that just like watching a whole bunch of stuff lately. Those are usually like those big reasons why they tend to try to downplay our unity, to make it seem like we're the same, you know. And if you want, you can marry whoever you want. You can't help who you fall in love with, but that doesn't mean that you betray your people. You know what I mean? Like, you can do both. And if your husband or your husband's family is one of those people who's saying stay away from us, you need to be checking them. I wish I would be with somebody and their family is disrespecting my people. That's crazy to me. I would not allow that. So a lot of times it's that reason too, and they need to stop that. They know they wrong. But that's it. Thank you so much for letting me talk. I'm so happy to see that y'all was on here, because I'm new to this app, and so I'm still trying to get used to it. So BX Afro, like I said, keep doing what you're doing. You are reaching people all the time. Y'all doing a great thing.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. All right, let's get to Lottie.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Once again, Afro, you gave a master class on being elegant and disarming a BOMB. Because people who are from up top, we know that accent. He sound like one of the cats that be a street vendor trying to get you to buy the sunglasses. That's the accent I picked up on. Because one thing I know about being up from up top, a lot of us from up here understand that a lot of our family is from the Carolinas. So if you behind the wall, they're not gonna discriminate from where you from. They're gonna ask you where you from. They gonna have conversations because we're gonna band together based on melanin. He came into this live because we was having productive conversation, and he was here just to misconstrue the energy and screw it all up. And you gave a master class on how to elegantly disarm a BOMB. So I appreciate that. I was triggered. I kept trolling him because I already knew what he was doing. But I appreciate the good work you keep doing, brother, and I will consistently support you.
Well, thank you
And I'm
very
gonna
much.
land there, brother.
I appreciate you. Yeah, we've been on here for a minute. It's time for us to wrap it up, y'all. It's time for us to wrap it up. Got things to do. Start of the weekend. I hope y'all have a fun weekend. Y'all have an enjoying weekend. Y'all have a safe weekend, most importantly. That y'all weekend is safe. Because I want y'all to be safe. And I want to see you guys next time. Because I know BX is going to clown me. I already know. But I did miss y'all. Believe it or not, I did miss y'all. I was just very busy. But I did miss y'all.
Wait, excuse me, Afro, stay on that point. You've been very busy. Can you give us an update on? I know that you've been activating for the community, with going to town halls and stuff like that. Can you just give us a brief update on some of your work off of this here app?
Okay. Yeah. Not to spoil anything. Actually, I guess I should let tomorrow. If you guys didn't know, I was on the radio the other day. Not the other day, like last month. I was on the radio station. I'm gonna be back on the radio station. So we were getting a lot of the clips and stuff like that we're gonna play on the radio station for the Chicago and Detroit radio. We're gonna get that tomorrow, set up in the evening time. So we were setting that up. Also, there was a reparations event that we're going to because they're trying to establish in the city of Chicago. They're trying to establish the reparations, like committee and stuff like that. They're doing that in the public, coming up in next month, not next month, next year. So they're really trying to get the ground laid out for that, with a task force on reparations for the city of Chicago. So I've been very active involved with that. Also, there is a budget, and what we've been doing is we've been talking to different aldermen about the budget because Brandon Johnson is trying to push this budget that he's framing it as taxing the super ultra rich, but there's a lot of things in like the fine print that he's not conveying in the budget. So right now there's and at the end it happened in the same time last year. There's a budget battle in the city of Chicago for the next fiscal year. So we've been talking to different aldermen and how they've been organizing that. So those are things that that's been going on. On top of the fact that I already told people, I already guaranteed that I was going to put out more YouTube content. So I've been setting that up.
Thank you, Afro. That's a pretty nice update. So, Chicagoans, you have some reparations hearings. I suggest that you get involved. They can watch those proceedings virtually. Afro, is there a website like a link?
The proceedings. They didn't say that. If there's not one, I'll find a way to stream it or something of the sort. But they did not say if it was going to be streamed yet. They're still kind of setting that up. But I mean, I'm pretty sure they will be, like, if it's not going to be like live streamed, like how the town hall is, because the town hall is live streamed. If you go to the website, it is live streamed. So if it's not going to be live streamed, it probably will be recorded and put on a website. But they don't have a website, so it's a lot of stuff like that they're trying to get set up for it. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm very involved in that. Let me see. Who is? Oh, that's Rasta. I'm all like, who is this saying this about me? That's a troll. So I ain't even tripping. I think that was Robin who asked, "How can you listen?" On my YouTube page, I'm going to promote, because they have their own YouTube page, and for copyright reasons, I don't live stream because they're doing their own live streaming. But I am going to share on my community tab their YouTube page, and during their YouTube page, they're going to have a video of the recording. So even if you're not in the Chicago area or the Detroit area, you're still going to be able to listen if you actually listen to either the YouTube link or the Facebook link. So you can listen to it on YouTube or Facebook live. But y'all, yeah.
That's important for us, no matter where we are in the nation, to keep our eyes on the reparations hearings. They're having them in various cities and states. For the simple fact that I'm going to shout out Cali FBA. There was a man who came up, told New York Reparations Commission, this ain't the way it's supposed to go. Reparations is for foundational Black Americans only. So what Sister DW told us in another room is that our reparations hearings in New York is basically empty. We can find the ops, right? The Pan Africans, the Haitians, the Puerto Ricans even are showing up, but we need more of us at these meetings. So please get active, get involved. Even if you got to attend virtually, you can still give testimony. And I wanted y'all to see Afro Lee isn't just up here picking topics; he's actually putting in work for the lineage, and for that we appreciate you, Afro.
Yeah, it's going to be a very long day tomorrow, but got to get it done. We got to get it done. It's the end of 2025. We're getting it. We're closing out strong. Rasta, if you're not a troll, it was Reggie. It was Reggie, the guy. It was some dude named Reggie or Reginald or something like that. So I might be having you confused. I might be having you confused with somebody else. Am I gonna let? No, I'm not gonna let you up. Me and you had a conversation for almost 30 minutes, man. It's over with. Robin, you're in Chicago. What side of Chicago you from? I didn't know our sister Robin was in Chicago. That's what's up. Yeah, if you're not, then maybe I got you confused with somebody else. I don't mean to mislabel you. But yeah, I be putting in a lot, like a whole lot. You know, City Hall is getting super busy. You know, with the radio stuff. Okay, Robin, I see you. I got you. Um, it's a lot, but it's good because a lot of work means that there's a lot of stuff getting done. So that's how I look at it. All right. Make sure you all go to For the Culture on YouTube. Okay. Go to For the Culture on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button because y'all gonna want to listen to the playback of this. If you guys have not seen this from start to finish, you guys got to go there. All right. Somebody say, Afro, you look sleepy. Yeah, I'm tired. I left the gym. You know, I need to relax. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long day for me. It's been a long day. It's going to be a longer day tomorrow. So, I need to relax. But I'm here for you guys. I'm here for the movement. Appreciate y'all. All right. With that being said, thank you all, family. Thank you all so much for all of the likes, the gifts, the comments, all of that stuff. All right. I will see you all soon.
Have a blessed night. Oh, Afro, when's the next time you coming live on TikTok?
I tried my best to leave. I was
Yeah,
just
I
going to
was
say
trying to let
something.
you get away
I
with it because
tried.
you're so
Listen,
busy.
y'all.
But
See,
I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask.
I tried my best to leave and have BX forget about it, and then I was gonna text her right after that, like, "Ha! See, you forgot, because she always does it." So I was like, "Ha! You forgot to ask." But she remembered. She remembered. Okay. All right. Yep. You can't get nothing past BX now. You can't get nothing past BX. I shouldn't even try, right? Well, not tomorrow. I'm not going to be available tomorrow, but Sunday. How about that? Sunday.
That's fine. That's perfect. I want to say to everybody that any pan movement, anything that has pan in front of it, ask foundational Black Americans to put aside their purpose and take on somebody else's, and we can't afford that at this time. The problem with some pan movements, the people that push these movements, they don't tell the people that it's not that we want to see them harmed or not to be repaired with reparations. They just can't be on any claim with us because this is for our specific lineage, the emancipated people, that era there. So the Caribbean, if you say you Indian or American Indian, you still got to go after the crown, not with Black Americans. Africans from the continent, I personally don't think you deserve reparations for slavery. I think you made a bad business deal and now you're trying to spin the block. But if you want to go for like colonization or something else recently, then that's your moment to shine. That ain't my business, nor is it Black Americans. Just don't try to hinder us. Because the win for Black Americans, as you can see, and we tried, true, tested, and it's proven, a win for Black Americans is a win for everybody because we're going to take care of home, which takes care of you because you're allowed in this country in record numbers and we support your businesses without fail. But I don't see too many of y'all supporting ours. And I'm going to land there. They got to change for me. And even then, I don't trust them. But any pan movement is harmful.
We just got to make sure we focused on what we need to be focused on, and everything will fall in place. I believe that's why I'm not mad. I'm not stressing about it because if we just keep focusing on what we need to prioritize, everything else will fall in place. It will, and all of these other problems will automatically start to fix itself. So all we got to do is stay on code. That's all we got to do. Stay on code, baby. Stay on code. All right. I will see you guys Sunday. If you guys listen, please follow me on YouTube so you guys can listen to the radio station. So I will give you guys information about that tomorrow. So please make sure y'all do that. For everybody in Chicago, what I kind of want to do, I don't know if I'm going to do it before the end of the year. I want to, but I kind of want to stage an event, kind of how I used to hosted an event to kind of get the community active, to kind of see where people are from, and to get people who are involved in helping. Because next year, I'm not going to say it now, but next year I got a lot of plans already set up for specifically for Chicago with the reparations thing, because Chicago's gonna be a really big hotspot. Next year is going to be really big. So I'm already setting the stuff up for next year. So I want to get stuff kind of started. The YouTube channel is Afro Elite. You can go to the link on my bio And yeah, you can go to my YouTube page. So I want people from Chicago, if you guys are able to like come to this event when I set it up, I'll make announcements and all of that good stuff. So, bam. I know we said BX, we said we was leaving 10 minutes ago. Look at us. Still here.
So let me say this: love, peace, light, and reparations to my foundational Black Americans. I love y'all for real. That's a cue. Just hit the button, Afro, and we'll speak to you later.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.